Well, here's my process, Eli. Once I found out the beast cast was taken, I was like, all right, like I could literally name it anything, but like, let me think of something catchy, and then for whatever reason, like I wanted to default to like, like with Tekken, there's so many moves, but how many people know the actual names of like the actual moves rather than the notations? So I could honestly have just taken anything from the thousands of moves that are out there and just named it after that. So I just wanted to go with something as an ode to Marduk or Bruce, and like, but none of Marduk's the names of his moves was like catchy enough. Like I was gonna go with like Gator Chomp, or but there's just no, that's not gonna work. Or like a 1-2 combo. Or that I almost picked um hang on. Almost. I defaulted to almost either shout out kicks or Teo Ken, which is one of Bruce's old moves. I think it's his forward 3+4. But yeah, and then like I called my go-to artist to like get everything ready because she was gonna just do like a big background and like a wallpaper and whatnot, and just an icon for the pod bean. But she's busy, so it's been taking a while. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I really want the beast in there somewhere. So I'm just like, you know what, just call it the beast then. Yeah, yeah, but when muted. Oh wow. All right. Legit though, when muted. That's Alright, what's up, lovely people over the internet, Australian FGC, whole wide world at large, how you doing? Welcome to this episode of The Beast Dance, episode 13. Wow, we're really and truly in the double digits. On today's episode, we got the usual Alchemist. What's up, my dude?
What's up, everyone?
It's good, man. We got Daniel as well, aka the Aiken Killer. What's good?
What up?
And Reck, resident fan converted to Steve. What's good?
Very good, thank you.
Good to have you guys. Thanks for doing this as usual. Always good to have you on. Today we're mainly going to be talking about. It's been a while since we talked Tekken. There's a lot of events that have happened. We'll also be filming the last half of the Beast cast for the Beast Dance. For those that don't know, the name has been changed. Yeah, just short story on that. I found out not just one, multiple podcasts called the Beast cast. So I was just like, I don't want to have to deal with this. So here we are, new name and all. So yeah, embrace it. But yeah, we'll be saving the last half of the podcast for fielding questions that we've gotten from the Tekken community. A lot of questions about learning the game, just improving and whatnot. So, and just general perceptions regarding Tekken and Large. So stick around for that. I've got a few questions. We'll still take some from the chat as well if we got time. So please stick around. But I think we'll kick it off with like a few of the local results that have happened over the past couple of weeks. Catch Warriors Rambat, we just had that over the weekend. I'll just quickly run through top 8. First was Lee Min Ho. Second we had dANiel. Well done, dANiel. Another solid result. We got Aiken. Third, fourth BPG. Fifth was Rami. We also had Sleeve. I think everyone knows Sleeve. You guys know Sleeve, yeah? Sleeve Socks from online. Yeah, it was his first offline tournament, and he came equal fifth. Nice. And Flame of Ice Cold. Not many people will know him unless you're Melbourne, but that was his first top 8 as well.
And who was it?
Oh, Flame of Ice Cold. He plays Dragunov. Friend of Abdul.
Oh, okay.
But, well, introduced by Abdul, but yeah. And we also had some guy called Grimlock in 7th. So yeah.
Who that?
I heard he's a fraud. I don't know how he got top 8.
I watched I think top 4.
Yep.
Of the Rambat, and I saw Tin using Katarina, and I was wondering, is that a serious pick? Is he actually trying to play Katarina, or is it just kind of?
I don't know. Tin has kind of had a character. I don't want a character crisis ever since season 2 patch.
Yeah.
Because for the most part in season 1 he was using Shaheen. But everyone and their mother fell off that bandwagon, except for a few loyalists. So
I completely understand why though, because the way they changed Shaheen, he's not necessarily a lot worse, but he definitely doesn't feel as fluid, and that can really be off-putting for some people. Like I don't like new Shaheen at all. I really liked old Shaheen. So yeah, that's fair.
I know. So I'm not sure if this is gonna stick, this pick, or he's just transitioning. But yeah, hopefully he finds a main soon. Maybe got influenced from Dion to some degree after the ISF qualifiers.
Yeah, Dion's got a Katarina.
But yeah, that's top 8 for the Rambat. Solid showing. We had the 33 entrants. Like Tekken always does good numbers. Like still like and a lot of notables missing. So like
new venue as well.
Yeah, new venue. So what did you think of it?
Yeah, we outgrew the other one.
That's not the case at all. The reason we moved just it was a once-off is because we had a Soul Calibur launch event. So we just wanted wanted a bigger event just to showcase Soul Calibur, which was good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, just on a side note, that fraud Grimlock, he made top 8 in that as well. So pretty crazy.
I want to see that guy at a major.
Hopefully it makes it out. But yeah, that's top 8 for the Couch Boys roundabout. What else have we had?
We had a Queensland one just on the weekend. I missed that one though.
Yeah.
Oh, I
was a
saw.
really
Yeah.
good-
Oh, that was the sickest grand final actually.
I've got the
was it?
results up. I'll just quickly read out top 8. Equal 7th was Raven Boy and Baxter. Baxter continuing to try and prove me wrong.
Well, last time he came 5th, right? He's gone down.
Okay, well, it's going down. See, but my stance was that he's not making top 8 at a major. Well, a local is one thing, but yeah. I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, he came equal 7th with Raven Boy. Equal 5th was Narcissus. You guys know John, yeah?
Yeah.
I actually don't know him, but I watched his Fang. So yeah, I didn't know much about him.
Yeah, you had John and Cool Cats. Equal 5th.
Geese player, yeah, I know him.
Jim Bob, who I'm not too sure.
Oh, that
It's
was
Harlem.
Harlem. Yeah,
Oh.
he entered as Jim Bob.
I was wondering where his name was. God,
Yeah.
No, Harlem continues to prove strong. Yigs equal 3rd. I mean, no, it's not equal. 3rd, you had Colin off 2nd, and JMK's.
Whoa, no.
Wait, I thought Colin came first.
Colin won.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they have entered
Not
these
wrong.
results wrong on Smash GG, so yeah.
Wow, man, that's it.
I'm gonna have to see someone about that. But yeah, it's funny because I remember like a post from Willis, referencing Colin's win, and I'm like, did I read that wrong? Okay, apparently Colin won. Yeah, how did the grand finals go? You said it was epic.
There was like one round where Colin was on nothing.
Yeah.
And JMK's was full, and he made like the best comeback, and he took that momentum and he won.
Really?
So what happened was, JMK's had like 70% life, and Colin had very little life, like maybe 30-40%.
Yep.
And I remember JMK's did down forward 1-2 with Kazumi. And this is the final match, by the way, and the second last round. So he did down forward 1-2. Colin ate the second hit, and then JMK's, I think, got a free grounded hit, and he had basically no life left. He just started jabbing, and then he did a down forward 1, and JMK's retaliated. Colin did a backdash, arc blast, and he had rage, so did a lot of damage. And he just came back, went to the final round, and then they were like scrapping against one another. But I think Colin had the lead, and then he got a big combo, and he dropped it, I think, on purpose, and then he won with rage drive or something. But the thing is, he had like maybe 2% life, and JMK's had like 70%, and he was down one round, and he came back from that.
Nice. I'll have to go back and
I think
watch
that's
that.
why the person that was doing the Smash G did like, yeah, nah, he's done. You know?
Who was coming from losers?
Colin
came from losers
Colin.
because the last I checked in, good old Yigs was in winners final with JMK. But yeah. Shout out to Colin.
JMK put Colin into losers as well.
Nice.
What was the reset score?
I want to say 3-1.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Reset score for
The first set of the grand final.
Okay.
Yeah, first set.
It might have been 3-2, but I can't remember.
Yeah. Good stuff to Colin. Oh, you know, always a heavy hitter. Want to see him at more events.
Was Scorpion in this tournament?
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
Scorpion wasn't there, and Jabby wasn't there because he was at PAX.
Oh, that's right. I saw Dread. Did he win a PAX tournament?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Every year at PAX, Couch Warriors run a few Tekken tournaments just for the community, so it's free for anyone who's there to enter. Usually a good way to get some new people into the scene, so good entrance. I think Dread won the first day.
Oh, so there was two days of tournament.
3 days.
3 of them.
3
3 of them,
days.
was it?
Dread won.
Three?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Dread won the first one. Gabe won the second, and I'm not sure who won today's.
Oh, there's one today.
Yeah,
Okay.
because PAX runs over 3 days. Yeah, it's good stuff. Keep in mind with the laggiest of monitors, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. But still, it's all meant for good fun, just to get people in.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, again, shout out to Colin. Want to see him competing more offline events, boy. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear any more OSs of like I hardly play this game. Stop playing. Let's just quickly highlight. Couch Warriors ran the first of a series of online qualifiers. Online tournaments that are a path sponsored by Twitch. It's essentially a Twitch path to BAM. So what happens is throughout all the states of Oceania, New Zealand is included in this. There's going to be a series of points to be taken at offline events. So Sydney's going to have your YSBs or whatever. Melbourne's got our Rambats. Queensland's got their Rambats as well. New Zealand have their thing. So you qualify for points. There's also an online segment. So like if you can't turn it on offline, you can turn online. Obviously, online isn't worth as much, but you can get points that way. And there are 4 qualifiers at the end of the year for like a mini battle out at which ends up at BAM. I think whoever gets the most points accumulated is one of those entrants. So and the winner will get a free trip to EVO.
No, that's really
also
awesome.
it's just one person that gets a trip to EVO.
Yeah, it's just one person because
okay.
The way it works is it works like last time. There's one person that's sent over the highest placing Australian. Actually, I'm gonna have to double check how it's worked out this time because last time it was the highest placing Australian in Smash, Street Fighter, and Tekken. This time, I think the highest placing person in Australia in the tournament, the person who accumulates the most points, last year's representative, which would have been 10. For example, hypothetically, and I think there's one more. I forget how that person the requirements for him. But they battle it out in like a mini 4-man tournament, and the person who wins that gets a ticket. But there's still like a lot of processing after final out. See what the final details are. But yeah, the first tournament we had was a couple of weeks ago, and Dion ended up winning that. So.
Okay.
That's what that was about.
So wasn't it they take like the top 4 scorers to fight off or something for the ticket? Was that?
Like I said, I've read through it, not in any great detail. From what I read, it's the other way around. Only one of the 4 is qualified through the points from the offline and online. But I'll have to double check. They might rework it depending on what's best for the community, but. Yeah, again, something I'm gonna have to come back to just to make sure I'm reading it right. But yeah, Dion came first in that one and lost to beat out. He beat out Sydney. Really sucks in the grand final. Can someone please tell that guy to change his name? Oh my god.
That's alright.
Shout out to Scorpion. I think that were all the local events that we had. Sydney, I don't know if you guys had any events. I'm sure you had some of your. I mean, you got your events on every week, but.
So what happened with our monthly is there was an issue with the venue. They're trying a new venue, and they've just had issues with it. So we weren't able to have a YSB this week. I mean this month, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And I think we're still doing, the weekly. We have weekly tournaments at Bankstown PZE every Thursday. I haven't been able to make most of them because I've been working. And I'm not sure. Eli, you didn't go to the last one, did you?
No.
No, so I think Dion won the last one against Box or Bo in the grand finals.
Dion's
Yeah,
been
that
in
was
town for a while now. He hasn't been traveling,
been
has
in
he?
town. Yeah, he hasn't been traveling for a while. I think
Okay.
he's taken a bit of a break because he was all over the place for a bit.
Yep.
But he's going to IASF. I want to say, is it next week or the week after, something like that?
Oh, that's soon. Yeah, that completely fell off my radar.
Yeah, I forgot about that as
November
well.
16, I think.
Yeah, so a couple weeks, I think, and he's heading off. So yeah, hopefully he'll do well to represent Australia there. King Cummies, there won't be a YSB, I think, until January, but they're gonna have a.
What?
We're gonna have Bankstown. There's gonna be a different. Yeah, a new one called Bankstown Runbacks until YSB comes back. So they're trialing this new place. So it's gonna be monthly. It's gonna be probably just as big. It'll just be in a different venue.
Okay. So what? YSB is kind of transitioning temporarily over to this Bankstown venue.
Yeah, I think they're trialing it or something. I'm not sure. I'm not asked to do so. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of been quiet with events in Sydney, to be honest. Usually we're pretty busy, but yeah, recently it's just kind of been. I've just kind of been going to BKB, which is Bottle Cap Bunker in Maryland. Every Wednesday and most Fridays.
Yep.
And we practice a lot of Tekken there. So anyone's free to come out if you're in Sydney.
You guys have a new venue as well, don't you? A new esports venue. I remember Yusuf posting about it.
Ah, First Round Esports. That's right, in Ashfield. It's like a bar.
Yep.
I've been there once. It's a bar, and they run all kinds of games. It's all PCs. It's not FGC, but it's like all gaming.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. But they're also, I think they're hosting. I'm actually not sure what they're hosting. They had when they opened, they had a Tekken tournament King of the Hill kind of thing with $100 bar tab.
Nice.
I'm not actually sure who made that one. I wasn't able to make that. But yeah, so we're just getting places popping up all over the place. It's really good.
Nice. Yeah. There's a lot of events like across the states that are happening because now Queensland have their monthly roundabouts, so that's a good thing. Melbourne might be having more stuff in the works, but that remains to be seen. Keep an eye out for that.
I saw. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I saw you guys have a new. Is it a major coming up in December?
See, it's a mini major. Let me clarify what that is. Every year, Culturales has like an end of year rambat. Like it's our last rambat, but it's kind of like propped up to be like the big rambat to celebrate the rest of the year. Like usually it's always held at like CQ. I'm not sure if you guys know that venue in the city where BAM used to be, or Shadaloo used to be. You know that one, Daniel. Yeah.
I went there for the BAM in 2016.
Yeah, CQ. Yeah, but yeah, usually it's there. So, but the thing is, it's like, it's a big major. We always get big numbers, right? It's promoted a bit, so just that's why we hire at the venue. This time around, the Dragon Ball World Tour is coming down, and that it's going to be held. So it's a big deal. So it's almost being promoted as like a mini major, and it's being held over 2 days. So if you want to come down, like Tekken's gonna be running. We're gonna like this is info for anyone. If anyone like Dragon Ball is the main attraction, but like almost most of the main games will be on deck. So the event will be held over 2 days. So if you want some FGC action, come down to Melbourne. So
is this the start of like a new season for Dragon Ball or something?
No, it's still the ongoing World Tour tournament, but there's a major. The pathways is like across the world there are major events. Like you know how we have the major Tekken ones and then the minor ones. The one in Australia is a major one. So there's a Dragon Ball up for grabs. So anyone.
Oh, it seems so sudden. Like, or have they known for a while?
No, he was known for
I know.
Casuals was known for a while. It's just establishing like a proper venue. That's
Oh, okay, good.
So there'll be internationals for Dragon Ball for sure then, right?
100%. Like
Yeah.
I saw, after Kazunoko won at C Major, they asked him, "Is he coming down?" Like even though he's got a Dragon Ball, I was like, "Yeah, he's coming down."
Awesome.
Damn, that's cool.
So,
I
yeah.
know Dilo or Didi from Sydney is definitely going to be coming down to compete in that. So
Yeah,
I'm very keen on coming as well. I haven't booked anything, but
dude,
I do want to
Cab
come.
Joy has booked a ticket. He's coming.
Oh, Cab Joy. Oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, and like obviously Tech, yeah, it's not the main attraction, but Tekken will be on. Like we always get put good numbers at the end of year roundabout, like more than 40. So
Even if you have just one setup, Tekken is still the main attraction.
yeah.
No one's there for Street Fighter.
No comment. But yeah, yeah, Tekken is always gonna be good. So I mean, yes, Dragon Balls is a good spectacle to watch. They'll be internationals, so be good to see them down. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of year round. But or being promoted as a mini major, it's called Southern Cross Up. So I'll link some the info and details in the chat.
I think isn't it called Couch Warrior Cross Up? Isn't Southern Cross Up another?
No, I said Couch Warriors Cross Up. Did I say Southern Cross Up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Couch Warriors Cross Up. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, that's that. And on the rumor mill, like you hear Perth is having something in the works, but like I have very little to no info about that. And like I've heard announcement of an announcement. I don't know. I don't know how much I want to bring up, knowing that nothing official has come out. Like I don't know if they want it to be official or not.
They haven't announced it yet.
They've announced an announcement.
Oh.
But it's happening. It's like it's one of those things I don't know if I want to talk about because I don't know how. Like I know it's gonna be happening. I just you've heard nothing from the go-to source. So
okay, all right. Because I thought some people were already booked for traveling.
Dude, Yusuf has booked already.
Yusuf
have booked. I've had some he's pretty much asked me if I'm coming on. Like, dude, I need some more like factual info on when this is happening and if I attend or not. I'm down to support like a new major in Perth, but I need some info. So Perth, let us know what's happening. If anyone of you, let us know. People are ready to come out and support, but yeah, because the Perth starts a Perth major would be good because their Tekken scene has been thriving for a while now.
I remember the guy who won IASF in Perth, the Claudio player. I forget his name. Was it Stuart? Yeah, Stuart. That's right. He came down. We were talking to him about the scene. He said, "Yeah, there are people who are really interested. It's just everyone's very new." And that's really cool.
That's good. Yeah, I'm always down. Just let us know early, because the flight tickets to Perth are not cheap. I was just browsing them yesterday, and I'm like, good lord.
I got like 400 or something.
Yeah, it's like traveling to like Malaysia or something.
Yeah, you might as well go to Japan for a second.
So it's funny because Sinjo is like a good buddy of mine, like plays Tekken and NRS games, and he always brings up the flight prices, and I've never had to really check until now. I'm like, this poor dude. Like now I know what he's going through. I mean,
every time it comes to a major,
if I was living in Perth, I would book my tickets as soon as there was an announcement for like a major in like for OHN or for BAM. 100%. I am not waiting.
That's rough.
It's like pretty much like going to New Zealand, like last minute. But yeah, look out for news regarding them. I think that's it.
That'll be good.
I think that's everything that's happened or that's gonna be happening in Australia. So, do you guys want to cover Steam Major at all?
C major. Yes.
Because we did have a few Aussies in attendance as
We
well.
did, and I was kind of upset because I watched some of the
Disappoint,
matches.
guys,
Yeah,
disappoint.
but look, you know what? Props to Navid. This is his first international, right?
Let's see if I can bring up results.
Yeah, I believe so. Like,
Yeah. So you know what? Like,
yeah.
it's a good experience, and I'm really glad he got to go out and you know play everybody. And I heard he challenged actually Dimebag to a money match, but I don't think it happened. So I'm really upset.
Ooh, he ran.
Yeah. What you got, Dimebag? Dimebag's the Australian gatekeeper. You guys know that, right? He gatekept Alchemist from top 32. Gatekept Dion in OH at last BAM. Gatekept Navid. Man, he's coming for us.
Wait, what did he gatekeep Alchemist from? Which?
Top 32 in Evo Japan.
Oh, really? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
It's still salty.
He's like getting flashbacks right now.
Yeah. The salt.
Was it fairly close when you guys encountered each other?
It was
But-
six rounds to 1.
But like, I remember watching it and just like, oh no.
He didn't give a fuck what I was doing.
Like-
It's like it doesn't matter what I did. Like if I was on plus frames, I thought, because you know when I versed low high or like other Korean players, they'll try and see, like if you're on plus frames, they'll see what you do and then they'll wait a bit and then they'll save stuff for future rounds. Dimeback was like, nah, fuck you, man. You know, +4, hop kick that shit, and he just throw stuff out. Nothing made sense to me. I was like, oh, what the hell? I thought this guy plays like a Korean. He's
Were
just
you
playing
using-
like.
Were you using Kazumi at the time?
Yeah, I only
Yeah.
played Kazumi for Evo Japan, except for the first match where I played Eliza.
Eliza, yep.
I've never played him, but that's what I heard as well. I heard he parties hard. Like he just doesn't care. He'll just do what he wants.
It looked like that. Yeah. Well, from the matches I saw on stream.
Yeah, So, Diamondback's the Australian gatekeeper right now. We need someone to break the curse. And I think Navid could.
I think Navid is very capable. It's
Yeah,
just
Navid was close. I think.
it's just
Yeah.
the I want to say international tournament experience is a thing.
100%.
Because-
like you need to understand how to.
Because
play it.
we've all watched him enough to see his latent potential, and he's got more than enough potential to do well at international majors. So
Oh yeah, honestly, yeah, he'll definitely make. If he keeps going, I guarantee he'll make a mark.
yeah,
Like
100%.
100%, he will. He is incredibly good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna detail how the Aussies did. I'll bring up DreadTech first because he's the first person I found. He actually did pretty well. In his pool was the notables were, sorry, any Singapore dudes or Filipinos who are listening, and I don't mark you as notable because I might not know you, but you had Yamasa Yu, you had Dojin in his
Yeah.
pool, you had John Ding.
Damn.
Oh man. There's like.
Dread was actually seeded. His first match was
Really?
against an Indonesian guy called Praj, and he won 2-1.
Nice.
Yeah, his next match was against John Ding, and he actually lost 2-1.
Yeah, I saw that
Who
actually.
won?
Yeah.
He got the
That's
first
pretty
Yeah,
good.
he got the first game, which was sick as. But after that, sent a losers bracket and just got taken out by Nishin from Japan.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, pretty good run. And from what he was telling me, he played like a decent amount of internationals there, really leveled up. So good for him. Another good experience for him. I'll just quickly go through Burnout. He's Australian, not the biggest Tekken player, but he went 0-2. Good shit, Burnout.
It happens, man.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I'm pretty sure his Street Fighter run would have been much better. Man, there are a lot of killers now that I'm going through these pools. C major is always a big thing.
Stacked. I think C major is probably one of the most stacked events that like happens. Period. Because it's cheap for all the Asian countries to fly in.
Yeah.
So it's
Those
always-
ones and the Tokyo Masters and the Korean ones as well.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find Aiken. Found Brown Man. Brown Man. Let's go. Brown Man won his first pool
He
5.
did really well, man.
Yeah.
Brown Man did really good.
He won his first game against Impog from the Philippines, 2-0. And he played Rip from America and won that.
Yeah.
So we got some good action there. He won that 2-0. I think Brown Man's style is very good for tournament. He just needs a little bit more confidence. He does get nervous.
Oh yeah, that happens to everybody.
Yeah, you go.
I was just gonna say I was in the pool right next to Brown Man, at Evo Japan, and we were just kind of talking to each other, and I saw Brown Man like barely pull off a win against a guy who was much better than him. I thought, oh man, like it's shaky, yeah. But
okay. Yeah. Then he lost to AK, 2-0. But
that was actually a sick match.
I watched so many matches. I can't remember them all. Then he was.
He did okay against AK. Like it was just AK just had really solid defense, and he just couldn't crack it. But he kept up with him for.
Yeah.
AK played amazing that whole weekend.
Oh yeah, he came second. Oh, AK won me money that weekend. Second. That's right. Oh, that was a good weekend.
If you guys don't know, I always bet against AK.
Really?
For future reference, Eli, when it comes to betting, for the most part, you should bet with your head and not your heart.
I bet both.
No, so what was the bet exactly? Like, what was the bet?
It's nothing major, just $5.
Yeah, but who was it against? It was AK versus
Take, maybe?
I think it was a Jap or a Korean. Was it a Korean?
I don't know.
I just know that every time Eli said I'm gonna bet against AK, I was like, yep, I'm down, and he won me money every time, and I was like, oh, this guy.
Nice.
Speaking of betting, for some reason, a friend of mine from the US. This is off topic, but actually, I'll save this for later because we're gonna probably talk about this later. So yeah, I'll just bring it up. On
I'll quickly finish. Brown Man won another game in losers against Mercury from Singapore. Then he lost to Kokoma 2-0.
Okay. Yeah. No, Kokoma's really good.
Okay. Aiken. I'll just quickly go through Aiken. Aiken won his first match against a Malaysian guy. I can't pronounce that. Then he lost against Nobi in the run back from Evo.
Yeah, that's fair. But then the one after that one was a heartbreak.
Yeah, this.
Oh, that was
like I don't know what to say because
I can't remember who did he play. Sorry.
He played against the Street Fighter player.
He played against the Noctis player.
Noctis. No,
and it was the most heartbreaking thing to see because it was one of those matches. Look, anyone can win in tournament. By all things considered, he should have won that.
Yeah.
He should have won that.
I was in disbelief when I saw him lose.
No,
I saw the first
down back 2 is too good. Too good. Down back 2. Best move in the game.
Oh man.
Because I was watching, and almost by the second game, almost every time down back 2 came, I was like, it's coming now. It's coming now. It's coming now. It's coming now. Because this guy, he had such a reliance on it that I kind of have an affinity for lows. That's just my play style, and I'm just like, okay, it's coming now. It's coming now, and I just don't know how. It was just sad to see. That's all.
From memory, he told me I think he mind gamed himself in that case.
Yeah.
Because the guy was I don't think he knew it was a Street Fighter player, but he didn't think that guy was very good. But I think he gave him a bit too much respect, and then mind gamed himself.
Aiken should play the same way that he does against good players, against people like that, because he'll just kill you. He'll 50-50 you. The other guy's gonna panic, right? And he just gave him respect for no reason. I thought.
Yeah, he put himself in that situation, and he knows it. But yeah, that was hard.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough.
I think he even said that guy came out to him after and was just like, yeah, I don't know how I won that one. Poor guy.
Well, look, at least he's experienced it, so... Yeah. Hopefully...
Aiken got DLC'd.
I think I got Navee's results here.
All I remember is Yu and Dimeback he got.
Oh,
I missed the UU match. So I don't remember.
Didn't he lose to you twice?
No, that was
No.
Meat. Meat lost to you twice.
Dude, me played really weird from memory.
He picked, I think, Jin and Brian. If I remember correctly, but yeah.
I remember he had like day one combos, and it was really weird.
He did. He did.
kept up,
That's
though.
right. He did. He had day one combos with Jin. It was like just launch 1-2-4 dash back 3-1-2 like stuff like that. Like
And like he was hanging in there though, but it could have been optimized.
All right.
Also, that laugh wasn't to sarcastically say that Yu's a bad player. Just that Meat losing twice to the same person. I guess he was salty. I would bet he was salty. Because I remember when he lived in Sydney and he used to get salty. It was funny.
Does he rage?
No, he's just like the really quiet type of salt, but you can tell underneath.
you can feel it. Yeah,
it's
like an aura.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can see the lines, right?
Yeah, it's like the guy says, "Man, I'm not mad," but you can see they're seething somehow internally.
There's like steam coming out his head and shit.
Yeah.
Just to finish the Aussie results, we had two Aussies in the last pool, Chandon Y and Kurisu from Melbourne. Man, this seeding, like, Seem Major need to take some notes. It wasn't just Dragon Balls where the seeding was messed up, but Kurisu was seeded ahead of Yu.
What?
Yeah. Chandon Y won his first game against the Malaysian player. Then he had to play Yu, who eventually won two games to get to Chen and Y, and
that was close game.
2-1. And yeah, Chen and Y won his first game in losers, but then had to play Dimeback where he lost. Which, yeah, we all saw that. But yeah, shout out to Navi, like first international experience. I'm sure he'll take home some lessons for that.
Mm.
Yeah, that was C major. Trying to remember any other significant majors that happened internationally.
Oh, what about Master Cup?
Master Cup, yeah, just happened.
You guys might want to take the feel that I didn't watch too much of it except for the scandal that happened at the end.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was tough, man.
That's rough.
Yeah, it is rough.
That's rough.
Like I was like, yeah, it was a really awkward situation. Like I really didn't know what the right decision at the time was. But what did you guys think though? Like, did you think
all right, so
from the get go that they should have just given it to them or not?
All right, so as soon
how about you guys just clarify for anyone who doesn't know what happened, what actually happened?
Okay, so from what I understand, Master Cup came down to Anchor was low high, and there was two people left on Team Yamasa, which was Master Cup's 5v5 tournament, single limb, if anyone doesn't know. Or not single, is it single limb? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, single limb.
And so Yamasa had two players left. It was Take and Nobi. Yes, yeah. And so the second last match was being played, potential match. And in the very last round, they were neck and neck. It was 2-2. Low high screen blacked out because the machine overheated for about 2 or 3 seconds. But then no one knew about it until the match was over, and so after the match was completed and Low High lost, then they went to tell the TOs about it. And as soon as I heard that there was like a problem with it, I was like, doesn't matter. Like you should have stopped straight away.
So he didn't stop straight away.
He didn't. So what he did is he stopped. He put his hands up in the air. The screen came back on. He started playing again. All right. So if he won,
okay,
he wouldn't have said anything. But he lost. So then he got up after, and I thought, well, you lost and you didn't do anything about it when it first happened. And yeah, there should be Twitter clips or videos on it.
I just found the YouTube clip.
Yeah.
Just posted it in the chat. For anyone who haven't seen, it was crazy because I came in midway through. I'm like, what is going on? And then I saw the blackout. I'm like,
So they were talking about having the game redone to the last round. And I thought, nah, that's not fair on Take at all. Especially because I don't know if you guys saw the pop off when they won, but they were crying. Like they were so happy.
That was intense, man.
That was really intense. And I saw, was it? Oh yeah, there was no damage that was taken as well during the blackout. So it was like it didn't affect the game that much. Besides maybe take 2 seconds off the clock. So I reckon I think if they replayed it, it would have been worse. That's my opinion. I'm glad they did.
Well, this is an interesting topic. What's everyone's stance on how they decided to handle this?
My opinion is the only reason it was controversial was because the officials weren't assertive in the situation. The fact is, if you look at it, it affected the match in no way, shape, or form. And the fact is, it just took the officials so long to come up with a decision that it made it seem overtly dramatic when it really wasn't. Like nothing. It shouldn't have been.
You're right. Yeah, it shouldn't have been.
This goes back to having like people who know what they're doing and are ready for situations like this in tournament. It was the last match of the tournament, so of course it has it has a lot of weight. So you got to have people to make the right decisions. And you look at the footage. Like I mentioned, nothing happened. He took no damage. Take didn't touch him. He just kept moving. He stood there. And, there is no case for it to be replayed, except if you maybe consider the fact that it threw off the flow of the game. That's fair if you say that. But I don't know. I don't speak Korean. I don't know what they said. I don't know if the argument was that. I don't know what Lohai or the Korean team's argument was, but at any point, if you're just going by video footage, then there was no reason to replay it. Like nothing happened.
House wins, man. House wins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that.
But nah, if anything, he should have just stopped. He kept playing. He didn't say a thing. Like, lost life or not, like, if it really affects you, you should have just stopped from there.
Momentum was definitely probably gone, but like he should have stopped. That's his own fault. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, now that I know all the particulars, I agree with you guys.
From a stream perspective,
something to the point of screen blacking out happens, then and you don't show a reaction to it, then that's on you.
Like I've had it happen to me at YSB. There've been like power issues, and then we've had my screen blackout in like a top 8 match, and we both stopped and we said, all right, let's replay. That's how you do it. But yeah, I mean, it sucks that it happened. Like that's just it. It sucks that it happened, and what happened, and it's done.
Woo, Yamasa.
Yeah, and it kind of takes away from the victory as well, which really sucks because they deserve that.
It does. They were saying, like, when they were translating what they were saying at the end, like they said, this is a victory, but it doesn't feel like it. And I thought that was pretty sad for them, like considering how they lost last year and.
Yeah.
No, just.
You played really well though. I like that.
Yeah, he played a lot better than he
last year. He made some great decisions. I really, really liked watching him there. Usually I don't really like watching you that much, even though I'm playing.
Dude, Bats was so sick to watch as well. He hit like 50 just frame skyrockets.
Dude, Master Cup is so much fun. It's one of those. It's just it's just a fun event. Like you honestly, want to get a group of guys to come and just compete as a team. It's just why I'm always down for team tournaments.
100%. Watching it, I was like, man, I really want to go with like Australia's top 5. Like that would be great. I reckon we could actually do well in first to one Master Cup style.
Yeah. Did anyone get wind or word of how? Because I know Brownman and Phil from Melbourne went.
They did okay. They just did okay. Yeah.
Just
I mean, it's first to one.
Yeah, first to one.
Yeah.
It's like
you either win or you lose. There's no okay or in the middle.
from what Brown Man told me, like you do get a second life, but it's like you choose one player to play off in the loser bracket or something like that. But yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wait, so how does that work?
I'm not sure, but he told me like everyone gets like a second life where they just pick one player and then they fight off in a loser bracket. But I'm
brutal.
not sure how.
Oh, that sounds,
I think it's like, yeah, it'd be like a single elim type thing.
Oh, all right. Rough.
But yeah,
I honestly would have went to Master Cup this year if I knew if I could have gotten time off, because I couldn't even get time off to go to New Zealand, and that's one weekend.
Yeah. Did they?
Yeah. If I could have got, I would have went for sure.
So too early, did they?
I think they did. I'm not too sure. Actually, I don't know. I don't want to give out false information, but from what I remember, they had the date a long time ago.
Okay, maybe I'm remembering a different event. But yeah, I highly recommend Master Cup as someone who's been, as someone who went and had a little controversial issue of their own.
Really?
Yeah. Like just to quickly go through it. The time I had gone to Japan with Rami just happened to coincide with Master Cup, and Tekken 7 was new to the arcades, and like I don't know if it had been out in Sydney for some time, but Melbourne hadn't had access to it. And my thought process was, why would I want to enter a massive tournament like this when I've had no experience? I haven't touched Tekken 7. I can't really play off Legacy because Marek and Bruce aren't in it. So I'm like, why would I enter? And there was someone on like one of the Aussie teams, because there were a couple that couldn't make it, and they wanted me to field me in. I'm like, what? How am I gonna play? How am I gonna play it? But the thing is, it was the tournament was a good, I want to say at least 4 days from memory. After we got there, and for the first like 4 days, we were at the arcades almost every day. So that actually was enough time for me to be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. But I didn't have that. I didn't have that in mind. But
okay.
But I went to the tournament anyway to play on the team. But officially, I hadn't changed my name to replace the guy who couldn't make it. So when it came up for my turn to play, and I had played one game and we had lost. But the next team we played, I beat them I can't remember who I played, but I beat that person one round, and then they stopped playing. I'm like, what's going on? And they started complaining. I'm like, this guy isn't, because for those that don't know, in Master Cup,
you gotta register real early.
Really early, and everyone's names is like printed on, and the character they use is printed on like an official booklet thingy. So they noticed my I wasn't supposed to playing the character that was stated, who was the character that the other guy was playing, Devil Jin.
Dude, I just who did you replace? Who did you replace, Abby?
I'm not too sure. He wasn't Australian because our group was a collective.
Okay.
So as soon as I was found out, like there was a bit of a debacle, and then they ended up DQing me.
No, dude, I just imagine they look at the name and it's like some Asian guy's name, and they see some black guy there, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So that was my own little controversial issue. But yeah,
did you get let off?
No, I got let off. And Wonky tried to translate, and there was a little bit of a communicate. I feel to this day, there was a communication barrier, which is what affected it. Because I feel like they felt like they didn't realize I was a new person entirely. The other guy was sick and couldn't make it.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, still fun. So yeah, highly recommend Master Cup to anyone who can't make it. It's a lot of fun.
And send Dion and Naveed together.
Dion, Naveed, 10, Alchemist, +1.
dANiel. If
you're
gonna make it. Yeah. That was Master Cup. I think that's all.
Do you want to cover The only other one I can think of is just there was a Europe one that happened, like was it last week? And Canada Cup happened just like yesterday.
Yeah. Wait, what was the European one?
It was
Was
like
it the one where
last
one?
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, yeah. The last, I think, master event for Europe, and yeah, Subaru Kuma took it, and Canada Cup was just on the weekend, and that was very crucial for a lot of people because that's the last event.
Yeah, and I heard it was a shit show.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you, Eli, you haven't watched it yet, have you?
Which one, sorry?
Canada Cup.
I don't really care, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So by all means,
let me. It's already happened. Let me bring out the top 8 results. In equal 7th, you had Joey Fury, Equinox's Joey Fury versus Trungy. He's a Geese player, if I remember.
Yes, Stephen Geese.
Yeah.
Like
equal 5th. I don't think Joey Fury had too much to worry about because he had already qualified for TWT finals. Which is why I saw him playing Gigas. I'm like,
oh, he's played Gigas for a while. Actually,
I
he's
know,
got a really good Gigas.
But I don't know. Would he have brought Gigas out at a high stakes tournament if he still needed to qualify? I doubt that.
He did before.
Really?
He has, yeah.
Yeah, versus Anakin because he thinks it's a counter pick to Jack. So does a lot of people pick it into Jack.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I know how early this was into the tour, but yeah, that's news to me. Equal 5th, you had Junior 20 ounce versus Runner Black. Equal at 4th, you had Equinox's newly signed Cuddlecore. 3rd, you had Abel Del Maestro, all the way from
South America.
I'm trying. Is it Chile?
I think it's Chile.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was Peru.
You might be right.
You might be right. You might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Yamasa boys ended up taking 1st and 2nd. Nobi came 1st. Take 2nd.
Yeah. So they saved their positions. They're safe now. One of the big upsets was for Runner Black. He lost to Cuddlecore, and yeah, she pretty much cock blocked him from making TWT. He was pretty upset at the end, but yeah, it was.
Really? Is it on camera? Because I would love to see that. I'm all about that.
Like Cuddlecore is like real happy, gives him like a hug, and like he just doesn't want it.
Oh, that's good. That's pretty good.
But like so he a lot was on the line for him, and also Dimeback got knocked out real early.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, unfortunately,
he got 9th. He got 9th.
Yeah.
So
he lost to Joy Fury, I think.
Yeah. So it was like, and not only that, so the fact that Cuddlecore knocked out Runner Black, that saved Naps from making it as well. So Naps is now in at 19.
So yeah,
Naps
so if wasn't 100%, he was dependent on these results.
Yeah, so he's actually sitting at the 19th spot now. So he just made it.
Whoa.
Wow, laziest run for TWT finals ever. Because he started his run real late.
And he didn't go to this last event. He was probably thinking, "Oh, nah, he'll be fine," and he just made it.
Imagine that. How would you feel if the results weren't in your favor, Naps? Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
That's crazy. But yeah, the drama from Canada Cup was the tournament as a whole wasn't run very well. Like my Twitter feed was just literally riddled with it.
Yeah, so someone explain what happened. Like, what was the?
I'm not too sure because I haven't looked in specifics. I've just heard continuing story after continuous story how there were internet issues. Like for Street Fighter, the finals, like top 8, they had to stop. There was a power issue, so there was no stream. They had to record it and showcase it later.
Oh, okay.
Which is a major issue. Like, imagine that happening for a major game at a major.
I mean, it was Street Fighter, so it's probably for the better.
This man won't stop. Leave the game alone. But yeah, just apparently it's just poorly run. Like even for like the main games on stream, they want headsets and whatnot. So yeah, not a good look.
Mm.
So is the do you guys know if it's not actually 20 people, but the 20th person is the last chance qualifier?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
The tournament is on the day before so December 1st is the last chance qualifier tournament. December 2nd is the full day tournament, as far as I know.
So is it held in the same place?
Wow.
The last chance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. I think maybe was it Dan Banter that's going to that one, something like that.
He said he
I
had
don't know.
interests.
I think so.
Yeah, he had plans to go to the European one, but that fell through. And he also mentioned his probably the last chance qualifier. So I'm not sure if there was anything else, but I remember those two specifically. So
Okay.
who knows? Who knows? I mean, if you
Well,
do
he's in the
go-
chat. He can let us know.
Yeah. But yeah, those are all the events up until now.
It's been a great year.
Yeah, it really has. It's been. They're continuing TWT for next year as well. They've announced that, right? For
Yeah, it's assumed, I think. Did you
I
guys
think it's
see
just
Mark
assumed.
Mann's post today?
So which post? Sorry.
Mark Mann's post about what
Yeah.
people think about
I
the,
replied to it.
Yeah, I saw your lengthy reply. I liked it. It was good.
What did he say?
So Mark Mann was just getting people's opinions on how they should handle the qualifiers for next year, like if they liked it based on regions or just overall points, and yeah, just wanted the general consensus of whatever.
Please let me know where that is. I will chime in as well.
Yeah,
I'll link it.
I honestly think they should do more regions, just so you have a more of a broad variety of
Yeah.
But I'm not a look. People who are willing to travel to another region just to get points, like fair enough to them. But at the same time, it's almost like from a spectator perspective, and from people who are watching from everywhere around the world, it's more appealing that the cast is from like everywhere. Across,
Yeah.
Think how many more think how many more people will tune in if like your homeboy from like Peru is tuning in, or we got a couple of representatives from Russia or whatever. Everyone is tuning in.
Yeah,
Just to give. Sorry, go on, Daniel.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like it's so like all the really small areas, like I guess we're considered small as well, but we get shafted in the sense that like you know, we have to cross a lot of water to get to another event, and it's very costly for us. Whereas in Europe it's much cheaper for them to travel around and gain points, but for us, you know, unless you got money or you're sponsored, you can't really make many points at all.
Dude, I would love for all these tournaments and these qualifiers to segregate Australia and New Zealand completely from Asia. Like Oceania on its own, leave us our own qualifiers.
That was one of the things I said in my comment in the tweet. I said even just one spot for OCE would make me so happy.
100%.
Oh yes,
just one spot.
Just one
like it
spot.
doesn't even have to be Australia.
We only need one. Well, I'll put it.
We only need
I would love more than one, but you know, I'll settle for one.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than nothing.
Dude, imagine like, I guess, you know, I don't know how they want to do it by region. Like, you know, if you get particulars and started doing it by countries, dude, imagine getting some like crazy Pakistanis in there as well.
Oh my god!
Then you get to showcase what they're all about.
I'm convinced Pakistan is like on Korea level, if not better.
Is this a good segue for Knee versus Aslam?
Aslan, man, like so I've kind of.
Before that, I just want to point out that like I liked one of Rip's ideas where instead of top 20, you take top 32, so you get more people.
Yeah, I highly agree.
They do that with CPT. That's the one thing that Street Fighter does right.
It's also global finals. That's global finals before TWT, always at 32 people.
Yeah, that sounds so good. Like you get more variety of players, but yeah, I don't know how you do region, but 32 sounds good.
See, the thing is, 32 is enough to compensate if you want to do it region-based. You'll have heaps of space.
The thing is, if you... One of the things I really don't like is obviously how Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan even, I think, and Japan and Korea, Philippines, they're all in the Asia region. And that's like, without question, the most competitive region in the world.
100%.
Oh, easy.
And you're telling me you only want 5 players from that region to be at the finals. The finals, which is meant to showcase the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. Like, if you want to put it into region lock, there's no way Asia should only have 5. If you're going to put all those countries, should be at least. Look, I'm not going to put a number, but 5 is definitely too low.
You know, I'm looking
if you
at.
want to do it that way, you should have enough spots for that region, dependent on how many countries there are there.
So I'm looking at the top 32 now. It means Dion would have made it, and Little Margin would have just made it as well, and that would have been sick, man.
Sorry, repeat that.
I was saying, like, I'm just having a look at like the current top 32, and like if that were the case, Dion would have made it, and Little Margin would have just made it too.
Yeah.
That would have been good. Yeah.
Hopefully next year, we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully they actually take in people's consideration, because I'm sure a lot of people share that stance.
You know what? It's probably just a cost issue as well of flying the extra 32 players out and whatnot and accommodating them. But, you know, we'll see.
Yeah.
What, an extra 12 people?
Well, you know, we don't get paid much in Tekken, so...
Dude, take some of that. Take some of that money out of the DLC. I know they're doing well.
They gotta be, man. Give some of that SoulCal money.
Damn, there's big SoCal money.
I actually don't know how well the game's been selling, but I know a lot of Australian Tekken, or like just a lot of Australia is playing SoulCal from a lot of different games. That's cool. I just bought it today.
So, did you guys want to go back into Pakistan?
No, back to pretty much some points made. Like everyone, I think this year more than any, people have known, if they haven't, that Pakistan has good players. So, yeah.
Oh no, so I mean like going into the Pakistan
versus Knee.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, for those that don't know, was it in Dubai?
Yeah, I think
it was. Yes, it was.
Around the same, if not the same weekend as C Major. There was an invite. Was it invite only tournament? To Dubai. A lot of the top players. You had Knee there. You had Chanel. And yeah, Arslan as well. I can't remember the full list, but there was a tournament as well as an exhibition match. Was it top first to 10?
I didn't see it.
No, who's the exhibition match between?
Between Knee and Arslan.
Oh no, that was just
no.
game.
That was tournament. They didn't have. Oh,
okay. I must. Why am I trying to remember?
You're thinking of the Naps versus Knee first to 10.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so that was one, and then the other one was tournament first to 5.
It wasn't
first to 5.
I remember Dion sending me a couple of videos. I'll have to go back to double check. But oh yeah, the grand finals was Knee and Arslan. And spoiler alert, it's been a while, but yeah, Knee got wrecked.
Yeah, man, it was. You know, that set of Tekken was like next level. It was like you see Koreans deathmatch and stuff, and then you see Knee versus this guy, and I think in the entire set I saw something like 3 launches. So first to 3. No, there was no. It was no commitment at all. It was just poking, timing, poking, and then like quick read. It was ridiculous. I've never seen Tekken played that way. It was like, but it was something else. And Pakistan is like contender for best in the world, I think, as a region.
Made me look helpless, man. It was weird.
It was weird, like, and especially I literally have no idea why he picked Claudio. I mean, he probably has his reasons.
Sandbag.
But yeah, no, I don't think everyone's making excuses for Knee, like, you know.
Yeah, nah, I don't think so.
Nah, I just think Arslan is extremely good, and he definitely had a gameplay.
You don't think, because it was the same time that the news dropped about Green Arcade and his trophies, you don't think that would have come into play to some degree?
Didn't they come out straight after, or was it?
It was like 2 days before.
I was before. Okay. I mean, look, people are making excuses. I don't think there's any excuses. I think Arslan is just that good, and
No, that's fair.
I think Nee is unfamiliar with the playstyle.
That's also a big one.
And Nee is, of course, one of the best long set players and generally known for taking a while to adapt or to at least condition in his ways. If it was a longer set, it would probably have been closer. But I'm not saying anything about Arslan being worse of a player. Arslan is absolute top tier in the regard of his understanding of how to play the neutral game. And, you know, that showed when he just absolutely annihilated Nee. But the thing is, I don't think his performance was... You can't really say his performance was weakened that much because of what happened.
Obviously, but
yeah,
you know, like even if that didn't happen, he might have lost. I'm just saying to how much a degree it affected him, because you know, fighting games there's a mental side to it too. But I'm not trying to take anything away from Arslan.
No, well, see, I'm just interested in watching them play like a 1st to 20, like a really long set. I would sit there eyes glued to the screen because these guys are like so good.
Aiken in the chat is wrong. Alex is unbeatable. How are you gonna beat him if he plugs every match?
Yeah, well, there are some gods amongst us humans, but you know, there's not that many.
I still can't believe Dion only got like what 1 game out of 30 against Arslan.
It was so I watched. There's a VOD of it somewhere. And
please find it for me. That's insane.
I can't. Yeah, I'll have a look. Arslan was first playing like random select, and he was beating Dion pretty easily. But then, who was it? It was So then Arslan picked Steve. This is the reason I picked Steve up, pretty much. Right? Arslan picked Steve, and then he played against Dion's Jack, and I think he 20 streaked him. Just with Steve, and I watched the way he played, and it was like insane. His defense is like Korean level, but then he makes these ridiculous reads, and they always work. And I just thought, man, this guy's like one of the best in the world. When I saw that set,
wow!
And then I saw him games. Yeah, like Dion is not easy to beat.
Yeah, link that to me as well.
To streak Dion, like he'll play Koreans and he'll get games. You know, he's not easy to beat like that.
Yeah.
So when I see him get 20 streaked and this isn't his main. Arslan mains Kazumi. Steve is one of his side characters. I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous.
I like his taste in characters though.
Oh, he's
well, you weren't just a little bit sad seeing Claudio lose that set, Alchemist?
Why would I be sad?
Because
Claudio doesn't exist.
That's your guy, man. That's your guy.
No, it
acknowledge the fact that he had some loyalty to the character anymore.
Well, Nee is obvious. Nee's my favorite player to watch. I love the way he plays. I like the slow, methodical Tekken. Arslan is making his way up there, but Nee's always been my favorite player. And then watching him pick Claudio and play Claudio, you know, it was a very interesting style. But obviously, I wasn't saying I wanted to see Nee lose. I'm just happy that, you know, there's a player still playing Kazumi at the highest level in Season 2, because I know Ulsan, who I talk to on Twitter a lot, and I talked to him about the new Kazumi stuff. And, you know, he's very disinterested in the character now.
Really?
But then you see Ulsan, then you see Arslan, and he's like...
Keep those notes for later, because that's one of the questions I have from the general community.
Okay, well, anyway, back to... I was saying Arslan, he's just like, nah, fuck the changes, you know. Characters don't matter. I'm just going to play my game. I'm just going to play Tekken and not the character, and beat the players, not the characters.
Nice.
And then he does that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That was a set and a half.
But yeah,
all characters are still viable, man. All characters.
Because I'm one of the people that... of course, I'm unhappy with some of the changes. I'm not going to deny that. There's some changes for Kazumi in Season 2 where I'm like, you know, yeah, this is not fair. Like, it shouldn't have been changed to this way or whatever. But at the same time, I'm never not going to main Kazumi. The character is exactly how I want to play Tekken. Like, the way her moveset works. So that, and yeah, I can't. I'm not going to say, oh, this character is weak, I'm not going to play her. I played her in version C of FR, where she was bottom 5 and the third least picked character in the game. So yeah, of course I'll keep playing her.
But yeah, it was. If anyone hasn't seen it, definitely go check out that set. One of the One of the best sets of the year, 100%.
And the Jimmy J Tran one, which I haven't seen yet against
Which
Steve.
is hopefully, fingers
Yeah.
crossed, according to Alchemist, there's a VOD somewhere.
There is. He linked
No
it
spoilers,
before, I
guys.
think.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so without spoiling it, I can just let you
no
know.
Spoilers.
I can let you know it is like a really good set, and it's like really enjoyable to watch. It's like the two best brands in the world, basically.
And it won me money.
Yeah, dude, that's a
Yes.
spoiler in itself because I know who you might have picked. Okay, let's just phase that out. Phase that out.
No. Trust me.
Anyway, before we go into
It
our
was a
question, yeah.
the money was conditional. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Before we delve onto our the second half of this podcast, where we're gonna answer a lot of questions from the community, maybe some from in chat that we might have. There was something American based you wanted to bring up, Alchemist.
What?
Yeah, I remember us. We were talking about something.
No. Okay, so that is related to what just happened. So let's.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't want spoilers, then just enough. Like we'll
Yeah, it was the
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, that's pretty much all the events. Have I missed anything? That's everything.
I think you pretty much covered it. Yeah.
All right. On to the second segment of this podcast. Well, let's go through this list.
I was actually looking forward to this Q&A section.
Yeah, I hope people have questions prepared. Be interesting to see what people need help with or want to ask. I saw Baxter ask a question in the chat earlier. If
we'll use that one sec. Okay, we'll go with that just because it's there.
we'll leave it at that.
And he's here. Okay, first question. I got a question for Daniel, but I guess anyone can answer this. Everyone in Queensland shits on Geese, essentially stripping him of all skill that the player has. If the player uses Geese as the best Geese in Australia, do you agree or disagree with it?
Oh, dude. I don't agree with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
I don't think so. I don't think
it's
so
a
at
very
all.
easy answer. Yeah, nah. People who I'll say that Geese does force people to play his own game, but there are a bunch of characters that do that. Steve does that. Eddie does that.
Eddie does that. Everyone does that. Yeah.
There's a lot of characters that do that. So you just have to understand the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. I will say that Geese is good against people. If you don't understand Geese, it's much easier to beat someone.
Mm-hmm.
But nah. But what do you mean? Stripping all the skill player has? That's
just
like
silly.
if people are saying that, that's an
That's
excuse. That's an
really
excuse.
Yeah, that's like saying Dion has no skill. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah, he
make
plays-
any sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he plays Geese. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, nah, I don't agree at all. Like, I mean, that would say I have no skill, and I like to think
Dude,
I would have some sort of skill.
Yeah, dude, it's a self-explanatory question. Like the answer's easy. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think I have some skill,
Yeah,
like
dude,
without
dude,
Geese,
yeah.
but yeah.
So, yeah.
The only character that requires no skill in season 2 is Heihachi. I can confirm.
I will 100% vouch for that. I have a lot of experience being on the receiving end of that hierarchy.
Oh my god.
That forward 2 mix up, or not mix up, but hitting grounded is so
What?
fucked up.
What are
Like,
they
Why
thinking?
is that a thing?
like if you get up too late, you get launched. Like, huh?
He's so stupid in season 2.
All right.
Oh my god.
All right, let's move
So-
on. We got a few questions here.
You have a list, do you, Abby?
This one we can all answer this. More so Alchemist because he mains the character. What were the main nerfs Kazumi got? How do they affect her in terms of gameplay and mind games?
Oh, I think we should let Eli answer this. Yeah.
So there's actually some really substantial nerfs in terms of matchups. So I'll start with the most talked about one, which is the 1-1 and the 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
And them going from -1 to -3 is a really, really big change because 1-1 into 1 now loses to mids,
Mm-hmm.
which is a huge nerf, like massive nerf, especially with 1-2 because 1-2 you can't delay the follow-up. 1-1-2 has a mind 1-1-2 has a mind game, but 1-2 doesn't. 1-2 on hit was reduced to +4 on hit. So if you hit your opponent on the back with 1-2 now, 1 + 2 is no longer guaranteed. You have to do 1-1.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it changed a lot. And I was playing Dion's Jack, and so if I do 1-1, down back 1 will beat my jab on block. And this is the huge change in the situation. Like in the neutral game, if you're trying to condition your opponent slowly and they're not reacting to 1-1-2, they'll challenge the first time. It's really, really, really hard. So, but the thing is, she still has the follow-up. And you can still do stuff. You're M-3, you can step, you can create situations based off of your opponent's attacks on block or whatever. So you have to work around it, but it's harder in neutral. One of the biggest nerfs is her fly stance stuff.
Yep.
Like that's, I think, the most detrimental one.
Sense.
For example, her fly 1+2 is +4 and block now instead of +2. Yeah, cool. Doesn't knock down anymore. The plus frames don't matter. +2 is the exact same as +4 for Kazumi, basically. Doesn't really matter because you have jab and jab tracks both ways in that, basically in those frames. 1-1 will always track both ways. So that was a big nerf. And now she has absolutely no wall combo for the same range where you get a low wall splat and you do fly 3 into down 2. You do not have a wall combo that hits at 60% low wall splat unless you time it. And you'll never get it consistently in a real match. I've tested so much. Mm-hmm. You can do dash, wait, down forward 1+2, and you'll get 60%, maybe 10% of the time. It's so difficult to time. You can do delay running 2, and that's basically no damage.
Yeah, it sucks.
So yeah, and fly 3 down 2 was her most damaging wall combo before.
Wait, sorry, what was wrong with the wall combo you have to time? Sorry, what's the combo?
So before it used to be wall carry with Tiger Ender, so back forward 2-1, 1+2. You get a low wall splat, and it's at a range where you do fly 3, and fly 3 at a low wall splat guarantees down 2.
Oh,
like
yeah,
a bounce
that's
to
it.
bounce.
Yeah,
I know
so
that
they got rid of it.
And that was the highest damage in wall combo. So now what you have to do is you delay running 2 to get the 60% damage scaling, or you do dash up, wait, down forward 1+2. And the thing is, you have to delay the down forward 1 just enough so that the 1+2 hits 60% on the last hit and you get the flip. Otherwise, you don't get the flip and you're at a very negative situation at the wall.
Really? I thought 1+2 always flips. Like
no, it has to be low hit. It has to be.
Yeah. So that's the biggest nerf. She has absolutely no wall combo at that range anymore, where it's beneficial for her. Or does a substantial amount of damage. Other changes that I don't like to her are down back 4 not hitting grounded.
Thank God.
It's obviously affects her war game a lot.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think, the thing is, a lot of these nerfs on paper, they're fine. Like, they could have been fine. But the fact that they all came at the same time is the thing that sucks, because they wanted to rebrand her as a new character, but the new character is pretty, even more boring than she was before. Well, for me, she was never boring. She's the most fun character to play. Mm-hmm. But now, I think she's less appealing to players. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, she's so a lot slower than she was before. I guess that's the way you put it. Nothing feels as rewarding for most players. But the cool thing about the new Kazumi is she has cool combos now.
Oh yeah, some of them
with
pretty cool.
Magic 4. So Magic 4 has a new combo, 61 damage instead of the old 57 or 58, whatever you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it into the fly 4 combo?
Yeah.
It's fly 2, and then you do forward 3 without a fly. So it's the
and
knee.
then down forward 1.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very consistent. It's very easy. Yeah. It's a very good new combo.
Yeah, but Kazumi is essentially back to version C, where a lot of her combos are inconsistent based on how long you delay fly 2 and character hitboxes and hurtboxes. So it's really, really annoying. They are genuinely inconsistent. Like, you can test it yourself against Jin or medium small characters, and some combos are inconsistent. They will work sometimes, they will not work other times. Another thing I really wanted to talk about was... I just forgot it. What was it? This was a big one too. Fuck!
So while you think about it, I was just going to say, I think all the Kazumi changes would have been okay if they just didn't touch Fly. Fly didn't need those changes. Fly
I remembered what it was. Mm-hmm. You know how her forward 3 now is a normal hit launcher if you do Fly 2 after it?
Yes.
Yep.
That change is terrible because it's not hit confirmable anyway. You have to commit. So what if you want to do a mix-up and you commit to the 3 Fly and then you do the low and you don't get a combo or you do something else. You don't get a combo.
Oh, like 1+2 or the throw or something.
It's essentially just a mid-high launcher that's not hit confirmable.
It's
and
not. Yeah,
and the high is unsafe on block.
the fly changes should not have gone through. I think everything else would have been okay as long as they kept fly the same, but they didn't, and now it's like it's not great.
So basically, in general, you have to. There's a lot more things you have to do in neutral differently, and I'm not really a big fan because of the way things used to work before. Was some situations were really rewarding, but at the same time, when I say really rewarding, I mean they did like 20 damage and you got decent Oki. Like her fly 1+2 was a really good move, but now there's like no threat from fly stance except the low. There's no launcher anymore. Her fly 1 is the wall bounce, but it's not really that great.
Yep.
Fly 1+2 is +4, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't knock down anymore, which is, it's like the big, like pretty terrible for her fly mix up. And fly 3 is no longer a counter hit launcher, no longer knocks down, no longer guarantees.
Oh, that's right.
No longer guarantees.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so but she used to have a 50-50 on Oki if you end the combo with fly 4-3 fly 2.
Yeah.
And you could fly 50-50. And now she doesn't have it anymore. So there's a lot of changes to the character that, they're going to take time to get used to. And I'm obviously, like I said, I still play the character, but I genuinely don't agree with a lot of the changes. I might have been happy with them if they came at a different time, but they all came at the same time. So it's like, you had one Kazumi and now it's a completely different character. That's just about it. Sorry if I ranted on for quite a long time. I wanted to go into depth.
No,
that's a
fine.
very
wanted a detailed answer.
Comprehensive answer, that one.
Very passionate.
Just the follow up for that question, but you've already answered it earlier. Was are you going to continue to play Kazumi? And
without question,
yeah, 100%.
Obviously. I got a list of questions that I'll take some from the chat since they're here, but we'll get to the ones I've got on my list. We got one that says, question for everyone. What are your thoughts on general health, physical and mental, translating over to how someone plays?
Wow.
That's a good question. I think it definitely does affect it.
I'm all for it.
100%.
Yeah.
I think good health and well-being will affect everything you do in life, and fighting games is no different.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, you're not going to win a tournament if you're dead.
It's a very good point.
Take care of yourself.
Well, look at the consistent results. Like, I'm gonna point out Melbourne for an example. Like, look at top 3: Aiken, Daniel, and Tin. All Aiken not as much nowadays, but all are consistent gym goers. All I like to think take.
I wish I could say the same for Sydney, but I don't
Do I detect some shade? You said Aiken's no longer a gym goer?
All of them are have very healthy minds to some degree. That's a good example. Honestly,
Aiken probably not though.
I would think he's just a victim of good genetics, so you can kind of eat 21s. But yeah, I know. But honestly, serious answer, 100%. More mentally, you're not gonna play well if you're not in the right state of mind. I think nerves is a big thing when the mental game, and nerves that do affect you. So 100%, you have to be in a right mental state of mind. Physically, I know you're just sitting there focusing on a game, but I still feel like being in good condition can only benefit you. So that's
just to add on to what you're saying, I mean, when everyone gets older, you're not gonna be performing as well as you used to, but from what I've learned, it's all this stuff relates back to your brain health, and if your brain is healthy, then I'm sure your skills will be healthy as well. You'll perform much better. So yeah.
We were just bringing up before the podcast started how important sleep is, and
number one, man.
How well are you gonna do if you've had if anyone? I'm just gonna give it a shout out. I'm not being endorsed by anyway. If anyone hasn't heard of Matthew Walker, please get on him, and he's a sleep psychologist, and get on his book. It will literally blow your mind how important sleep is to your general well-being. But yeah. That's my answer to that question.
I agree with Baxter. He's saying about hydration during tournament. I always bring my own 1.5 liter bottle, and I scull that shit down.
100%. I always bring water. Always bring water. when I'm at an event competing.
Dude, I remember one time I brought. You know how I always bring like a 2-liter bottle of water, Abby?
Yeah.
I remember one time Rami questioned me for bringing it. I'm like, dude, like, what do you mean? Like,
no disrespect to Rami, but he's not one that should be giving out health advice. So.
I remember the first ever YSP I went to. Some guy brought a 2-liter bottle of apple juice.
What?
He wasn't playing Tekken.
2 liters of apple juice.
Yeah, but I just remember it specifically because I'm like, man, this guy, he likes his apple juice.
Yeah, that's. I have very mixed feelings. Not even mixed. I'm not a big fan of apple juice unless it's watered down to like the 90th degree.
Really? No,
Yeah, I can't. I don't do soft drinks. I don't do juices unless they're watered
That's
down.
really good.
It's
That's
too
good.
much sugar. If look, I think
Do thick shakes though.
Okay.
Got him.
Dude, you have to have a shake with a burger, all right? Give me some leeway. Give me some leeway. But dude, there's a big difference between eating an apple and drinking the sugar that's contained in an apple juice. Go in a glass of apple juice. Go look up the sugar content. It'll actually blow your mind.
Okay.
But
Dan Banta has a question in chat. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll read it out.
All right.
This is a question for my sake, but because I'm so indecisive, would it be better to go to this year's LCQ Last Chance Qualifier or an additional Tekken World Tour event next year? Struggling to make a choice. What do you guys feel about that?
So if you have to do one or the other,
I think it depends on how long he's with the sponsor and how many events they're going to take him to.
I think that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Time's a factor. You might actually just want to go to LCQ because it's soon. And also it would be a good experience. Really good experience.
Experience-wise, you'd want to go to LCQ, but if you're limited with how many events you can go to with your current sponsor, I go to a later one so they can so the ones that you go to count for more. Because if you do well at a TW event later and they see that, they'll probably be more inclined to send you to more.
Like, from a competitive perspective, I think LCQ is not worth it. But if you want to go just to like experience it and to watch the finals live, it would be worth it, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, this is his sponsor that's flying him out, I think. So he needs to make a decision with them in mind as well.
Yeah, 100%.
The LCQ is going to be like killer though. There's going to be so many players like Dimeback, all those players that just missed out on making.
Yeah, it'll be stacked as hell.
It's going to be stacked as hell. And honestly, if your sponsor is looking at from a performance perspective, I probably wouldn't like. It's good experience, and look, Dan's not a slouch of a player. He might do very well, but you have
international killers everywhere.
You have to pick your battles.
If Arslan Ash is going, I got my money on him.
Actually, that would be great. Yeah,
I want to see more of him playing.
Okay,
but yeah, it's gonna be a killer. Like I'm just thinking about all the players, and this is Did you guys see on Twitter that they're doing some sort of like GoFundMe for the top 3 players in South America to go to the Last Chance Qualifier as well?
Yeah.
South America is like insanely good.
It's just like another example of like Pakistan was. They've got good players. They don't have the opportunity to travel.
In my opinion, just to directly answer that question, I think there's 2 options. So if you want to go and perform well and you have the best chance of winning, go to the Tekken World Tour event next year. If you want to have a good time and experience like maybe some of the best Tekken you'll ever watch in your life and just an overall great experience with meeting people and being in Europe and Amsterdam, I suggest go to the Tekken World Tour Last Chance Qualifiers.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, Dan, you've probably thought about this long enough and racked your head. You know that the Last Chance Qualifiers are going to be insanely hard. I'm not saying you can't win. Like, anyone can win. It's just going to be really hard.
There's less chance of getting your sponsor's name out there in that particular tournament than there would be at a later
going to like 2 more or something next year.
Yeah, So, but ultimately, it's up to you.
All right.
Until next year, December. Oh, okay.
I got time.
Yeah, you got time. You got time.
Hope that answers your question, Dan. We got a lot of questions, so I'm gonna switch between the ones in the chat and the ones I got here.
Sure, that's a good idea.
Yeah. We got one here that says, how much do matchups matter in Tekken? If it doesn't matter too much, then what makes Devil Jin and Dragunov the best players? This is from their opinion. Do they have Do they have?
He means character matchups, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys know my stance on this. Character matchups
do they
are trash.
have minor advantages over the others in the roster? And yeah.
So the reason that I think these characters are considered top tier,
I think we'll answer it to be specific with those characters, and also answer like if character matchups are a thing.
All right. So character matchups are a thing, but they're not that important. Mm-hmm. That's my first statement, and the second is the reason why I'm going to say Season 1 Dragunov, because I'm assuming that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And Devil Jin in Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that they are so strong is because they're oppressive. They can force their game plan on basically every character, and it's not a hard game plan. So in tournament, it's really effective. And that's why you see like people thinking these characters are really high tier, these are really good characters, because they can do that easily. Whereas some other characters have difficulty doing that. Like Season 1 Lee, it's a character that you have to play around your opponent very specifically, and you have to know your situations very well, and it's very complicated. And it's basically difficulty. I don't think that like matchups. I don't think that the reason that Devil Jin players or Dragunov players do well is because they're so good in all these character matchups. That's not really it. And also, it's the players behind them. Most of all these players are really, really good. They want to pick a character that's easy, or not easy like per se, but you know, a character they can use.
That's what I was going to say. The player matchup, for whatever small percentage the character matchup matters, the player matchup will matter infinitely more.
Yeah, it's like 95% to 5%.
It doesn't matter about the characters. It'll always be player versus player in the end, and decision versus decision. It doesn't matter what the characters are. Yeah. Yes, there are situations that will be created that will be unfavorable for one character throughout certain very, very specific situations and circumstances. But the player always has an opportunity to get out of those situations. Always. Tekken like for every one question, Tekken has 100 answers. In terms of offense and defense, there's no way you can say this character is like I see people say this character is a counter pick to this. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
how does that make sense?
Really exist.
And then people say like you can't use this move against this character because it's too slow. What? How does that make sense? It's like the concept of timing, the concept of conditioning is just thrown out the window, and you think of it in such a binary manner that it's always going to turn out in the same way in every situation. It makes absolutely no sense to me, in my mind, to think that way about Tekken. And if you even check the questionnaire that Nee answered after he was asked about counterpicks, he says he always counterpicks players and not characters. That's why he picks Jin into Eddie when he versus John Ding. If you wanted to completely counter Eddie, or like quote unquote counter Eddie, you just pick someone that can actually float, relax every time and get a combo. Jin doesn't. He can just always hit relax.
I'm gonna feel myself for a little bit here, and I'm just gonna say so. I've started playing Steve for a while, and Eli has as well. And we play against Lucky Strikes a lot, which is he's like the best. I'll say the best Law in Australia, yeah. And Law is considered a counterpick to Steve, because Law has many situations that are like it's extremely annoying for Steve. Like 1, 2, 3, his punch parry beats everything, stuff like that. And Eli and I both beat Lucky Strikes in the Steve vs Law matchup, in first to tens, like
multiple
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, let's we'll feel ourselves, Eli. All right,
multiple times.
We're the best. This is our house. All right, Sydney's our house. And yeah, so like the matchup's bad, but you could still win. It's not like that. The game doesn't work like that. And yeah, 10-9. It was free.
I had a weird image in my head when Reck said, "Eli, we'll feel ourselves." Just like rubbing chests and stuff. Like,
nah. I'm not gonna lie. We popped off, both of us. When we won. That was big pop off.
Yeah, the first time I won.
Lucky Strikes, right? Like
it was Lucky Strikes. Yeah. So it was.
Yeah.
I think
just like a first to 5. Sorry, I missed it.
First to 10.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do first to 10s all the time.
Yeah. a lot, and I've never beaten him before until a few weeks ago, and now I've started winning a lot more. So very happy with that.
Aiken's actually very wrong. Lucky Strikes plays like 2
Lucky
days
Strikes
a week.
plays more than anyone in Sydney besides Eli and me. Like he actually does. He plays more than everybody in Sydney except Eli and I, because we play like twice a week and he plays once a week.
Steve is not a bad matchup for Kazuya. That's just age-old trash spread by people who don't know the matchup.
Look,
if you ask Choksei, he says it's slightly in Steve's favor.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
As someone who's played a multitude of fighting games, I will say Tekken is one of the games where matchups are very much less of the things. Like, so, dude, I played Mortal Kombat. I played
that game.
Because when you add in the 3D element of offense and defense, then it's just matchups a lot less of a thing. Character matchups are a lot less of a thing. But like there will be slight advantages to some characters. I always think, you know, at the end of the day, there are going to be tier lists. They sometimes matter, they sometimes don't, depending on the level. But character matchups in Tekken, in my opinion, aren't that bad.
You just look. I mean, just look at like the spread of characters in top 8. It's bloody random as hell now. Like, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, I hope we've fielded the answer for that question. Let's go back to chat. What do you think about fighting games moving to a long seasonal timeline, or characters update every season to mix things up, like in MOBAs, like Dota 2? Release seasonal patches to mix up the tiers to keep things changing over the game's life.
I really don't like that. Like, so I used to play a bit of competitive League of Legends like a very long time ago. And basically every patch is just like completely different. You basically drop the character that you're playing and play another one. Like it's nah, I really don't like it at all.
Do they do that in Dota as well nowadays?
They might. I'm not actually sure.
Yes and no, because Dota still has like really hard counter picks and everything like that. So you pick situationally, but at the same time, the top tiers always change now because the patches are more frequent.
Oh, I didn't know they completely redo tiers like that. Like they
in League, it's much more drastic.
Ridiculous,
it's much more drastic. I'm just going to quickly chime in with my opinion here. It's just my opinion. Fighting games, you need time to flesh out the meta. And if it's if you're getting patches, like, oh my god, anyone, like Baxter's in the chat, anyone who played Mortal Kombat and saw the rate at which they patched that game, that was not something I was used to, and I'm like, it just blew my mind, because you need more that time than the developers are giving to flesh out the meta.
Figured out. And it's not figured out, and then they change it.
Dude, I'm just using combos as a small example because it's easy. To this day, people are still coming up with Tag 2 combos.
Tag 2 is still not a developed game. Like, people still don't know the full meta for that game, and it's not been touched. And how old is it now? Was it 10 years?
2012.
2012. Yeah, it's
6. All right, 6 years.
So I'm talking from a biased perspective because, look, it depends on who your market is.
That's very true.
It depends on who your market is, because like with a lot of MOBAs, you have a bigger audience and a lot more casual audience. So yes, frequent patches you can cater to them for like a fresher game. Fighting games, like, we're kind of niche, and
well, the thing is, we're all competitive, right? So this is all a very shared perspective. But for someone casual,
there are fighting games out there that are like, that people that delve into the genre of fighting games that aren't as competitive than us, and they're just like, oh, I'm done with this. Can I get a new update or something? It's just yeah. Like, so I'm trying to see the point of view from everyone's perspective. For me personally, as a competitor and someone in the FGC, I don't like frequent patches.
Yeah, to put it bluntly, I hate patches in any game. It doesn't matter what
patches,
it is.
Please.
I know patches unless it's for something like obviously broken.
Yeah. So season 2. What did you guys think of season 2? changes? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Overall, would you prefer it did or didn't happen?
No, I don't mind it. I think it's good.
One
Yeah,
big patch is not a bad thing, but I think if they're like constantly doing it, like for season 3, if they had a season 3, I wouldn't want them to do the same thing.
I think with Tekken, like they know it's not. It's just small balances, if anything. Like
yeah, the changes aren't
just-
that drastic. Like
Yeah,
it's like
like,
you didn't
it's not-
see. I'm gonna embrace myself here because I haven't fully delved into the character, but you didn't see Lucky Chloe jump into top 3.
Yeah.
Like
Well, she's much better now, but
she's better, but she didn't jump into top 3.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you know, Kazumi, you know, everyone, she got nerfed obviously, and I don't. But she's still viable. She's not a bad character. You know, like
Definitely not.
there are changes that may have altered the character to not suit your playstyle, but it doesn't mean that they're bad. So that's my view on that.
Oh, I think Necromancy had another part to his question about characters being added.
Yeah.
And yeah, new characters are always fine. I love new characters.
Probably something.
Yeah, new characters are cool.
What about new players to the genre from other games? Well, you mean as DLC? As guest
Players or
characters?
characters? Did you say players or characters?
It's probably something traditional FGC players won't like. But what about new players to the genre from other games? What do you mean? In the sense is like new players from other games? I'm always for that if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I don't understand that
I don't
question
really
either.
understand that question.
I can't see it. Where is it?
It's further up the top. But yeah.
King Cummings has a good question, Abby.
Okay, I'll read the one, then I'll read one off the list I've got. How does a newer player go from online scene to offline scene to improve, and what steps can he take to go about improving the right way? And can they go back to online to keep improving, or does it hurt them?
Just
Where is
go
the
to an
question?
offline scene.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, so yeah, for the first part of that question, just go. Like, look, find something and just go, and like you'll love it. I can guarantee it. If you like the game.
Sorry, King Cummings always comes off offline.
Oh, really?
I think it's a general question just for everybody, just so
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying,
yeah.
We all say it's just you have to just go once, and then from there you'll have fun. Like generally, everyone's pretty nice to you, and then once you get to know everyone, you visit more often, you talk to more people, you learn lots of different things, and that's how you improve in the game.
Yeah.
The second part of that question is actually interesting, and I want to know what you guys think about it.
Just in regards
for the things that you do.
Yeah, you go, Eli.
For the things that you do learn on offline, how do you apply them online, and can you, or does it hurt you in the long run?
All right. So, for me personally, I used to play a lot of online when I was newer, more of last year. And from the beginning of this year, I have not played online, and I think it's helped me. I think playing online, if you're like serious about being really competitive, will hurt you. But if you want to play online because it's fun and you want to learn, I think playing online up to a point is good. You can learn to understand characters, but it gets to a point where it is detrimental to play online if you are serious about improving.
And then we should preface detrimental to play online in Australia.
Yes. Wow, that's very true. In Korea, I wouldn't be saying the same thing, but in Australia, we got garbage net, man. It's bad. It's really bad. And it's so bad that if you play the same way offline and online, you'll get drastically different results. I know some people who play online. I'm not going to name anyone, but I feel like if they went offline and played the exact same way without changing, like they'll not do even close to as well as they would be doing if they're playing online, and vice versa. I bet you there's some offline players that would be doing way worse online than they would be offline. Actually, I can name one of those. I think Jackie, you guys know Handsome Boy. Yeah. He tries to play online. He doesn't know what to do. But then he'll come offline and he'll do very well.
But he still doesn't know what to do offline.
But yeah, I do think that it can be detrimental to play online at a certain point. In Australia, yes.
Well, everyone knows my stance on online. I'm very vocal about it. But
Ooh. Look at the
I saw
question
that.
back.
That's a spicy ass question, but let's answer that after. I love that. I love that question.
That question deserves one of these.
But yeah, look, as far as all points of the question go, you can't. It's easier to take the steps to improve offline, because there's certain moves you cannot do online in Australia. Like you can't fuzzy properly given the right connection. You can't block
impossible.
dash like given the right
Yeah.
connection. It's just it's not possible. You know, a very tight combo that requires heavy execution may be dropped offline. And just look, my mentality with it is, look, some people outright won't play, and that's fine. Some people will for the character knowledge. I say, it all depends. If you're able to, like, if you want to play online for the matchup experience, if you're able to change whatever habits you have when you're playing between the two, then that's fine. But you know, don't pick up any bad habits.
The main thing is, if you're going to play online to improve, don't play to get ranks.
Yes,
that's a
100%. 100%.
Play to learn the character
because
matchup.
People will play a certain way to just win, and it's very different to play to improve. Like
if I always, like, Dion comes out to BKB almost every week, and he plays online when I'm streaming. Like, he plays on another setup, and I see him playing, and I see the stuff he does. Like, he will, if he's versing someone that's lagging, he will abuse the shit out of the lag.
Like, he knows what to do, man.
And he would, I know he'd never do that on offline. So it doesn't, like, if you, like, a good player will, and if someone's really good and they're abusing the lag, of course they're going to do well online. But if there's someone that's really good and not abusing the lag, and they're just trying to play like, oh, I'm going to fuzzy this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, they're not going to do it as well.
Yeah, not even close.
So, like, the thing is, when people play for ranks, they're gonna get salty. You know, you guys see how many rage threads you see every now and again. Like, like this guy, I'm stuck in green ranks, and I broke my TV the other day or something like that. It's because they invest so much of their energy into ranks. When online ranks mean absolutely nothing in Australia, when you're playing on a 3 to 4 bar connection, when you're basically playing underwater, and you have 2 seconds of downtime between every jab, or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's bad.
But yeah, I don't know if you want to chime in, Daniel. But we pretty much got that covered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't fully agree with online can be detrimental, but you know, like, a lot of good players have come from online. You know, you go, and a lot of them have come to offline and they've improved, and some of them still stay online and still keep on improving and barely come out. But when they do come out, they place, like Kojeski, he doesn't come out a lot, but he placed third at one of the Rambats. And
I agree with that.
I mean, you know, I wouldn't say it's detrimental. You can learn a lot of good things online. Like, you learn to play against a range of different people. You eat a lot of
that's the best
random
part
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I think, like, honestly, I play a decent amount of online as well. Like, ever since Tekken 6, I was like the only one playing back then in Tekken 6, and I learned a shitload of playing online. So I wouldn't say it's detrimental at all.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, but it's all about the approach. If you're doing it to get ranks, it's not good for you. If you're doing it to actually learn and improve and trying to understand what's going on, like what your opponent's doing, what their character is doing, what you can do to combat it, and what your options are in any given situation, even though the connection is not great, so you have to factor that in. But if you're doing those things, then yes, it can obviously help you improve in overall skill and understanding of the game.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I think the biggest thing is, like, for your general new player, they're always looking at ranks. Like, that's just the number one thing.
And even some old players.
Yeah, to define how they're going. But then later on, like, when they look deeper into the game, like, they find like an offline scene, that's when they want to just learn more about the game. And like, we've all been there where, you know, you play a new game, you just want to rank up, but then later you realize, you suck, and you just pick up a lot of new things later on. But yeah, it's just something the newer players get stuck in for a while. It's only really up until they find like more people or people to hang out with in real life that share the same love for the game. Then that's when they improve, and I guess don't care too much later on.
Should we answer the ultra spicy question we had before?
Before we get to that, Baxter's actually asked a lot of questions. I'm going to fill them all into one. Hopefully, we can deal with it all without getting confused. Initially, he asked, "What do you think? Why do you think there isn't many sponsored teams or organizations picking up players from the Tekken community?"
That's hard for fighting games, man.
No money.
No, for Tekken specifically. But think about that. There actually, if you pay attention, there's a lot of people. Well, a lot in quotation marks getting picked up in other games. In Street Fighter, there's actually a lot of players in.
So a lot of Street Fighter is come down to Gfinity, right? Which is they have it's a broadcasted team tournament, pretty much, single limb. And they accumulate points, and there's a final, and then they all that, and that's drawn in a lot of sponsors, and there's a pool of players, and sponsors have to pick up teams. But Tekken doesn't really have anything like that. I actually think.
Sorry. I
was just gonna say, I want to say that Tekken actually probably might be the strongest fighting game scene we have in Australia compared to internationals. I don't actually know about some of the smaller ones. But I definitely think we're stronger than Street Fighter overall, internationally.
I agree with that 100%.
And I think we might be the strongest. There might be other games that I'm just not thinking
collectively, we're the strongest. I would say Wes on the NRS side of things, he can compete.
Might be the
he can compete internationally. But he's like one. I'm not saying that whole of NRS are like a small fish in a big pond, but collectively, like. We're pretty strong internationally.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of surprised we don't get. Well, I'm not surprised, but I think we should be getting more. But yeah,
I think it's a combination of things. One, whether you like it or not, Street Fighter is always going to be the face of fighting games. Tekken, as much as we love it, as big as it is in Australia, to the casual member, and that's where it matters. It's a little bit harder to to watch, to get into.
Do you think that Tekken's harder or Street Fighter? Sorry, to get into.
Harder.
Oh, okay.
Are you asking which is harder to get into?
Or to watch and to get into. So you said them kind of together. Yeah.
Look, Street Fighter is easier to watch. Like if you're a casual, if you're easier to watch. There's fireballs. It's there's a mess. There's a mess of things going on, but it's easy. But it's easier to watch from the casual. But if you have like fundamental understanding of fighting games, perspective we're going to come down to it, because there are high tier players in the Street Fighter community that prefer Street Fighter over Tekken. But Tekken, from a casual perspective, is a little bit, especially if you have no prior knowledge to Tekken, it's harder to watch.
I think that would have been true with the older Tekkens, but I think Tekken 7 specifically.
Tekken 7 has done a better job for grabbing the casual audience's attention, 100%. But just Street Fighter is always going to be just the face. Look, and like it goes back to what you said, Reck. There's more opportunities for Street Fighter, so there's more reason to sponsor Tekken.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, to sponsor Street Fighter, so I think you might see that. You might see that change.
Most of the tournaments for Tekken are overseas, and we live in Australia, where we're in the middle of nowhere, and no one wants to pay for flights and accommodation on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, locally, there's a lot of Street Fighter events, so there's enough reason to sponsor people, because at local events you're sure to do well.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, but I think you might see that you might see that change in the next year or two. I just want to also fill into the question. You can answer his previous one and this one as well. He also asked, why don't Tekken players, for the most part, broaden their horizons to compete in multiple titles?
Well, I've been doing that. I don't know, but I can see his point. There's actually not a lot.
Sorry, go. No, go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say there's just not a lot of Tekken players that do that.
Oh, well, I just want to say 2D games don't interest me.
Yeah,
I don't like. I really, really dislike games where you can't cancel movement. It's one of the main reasons I love Tekken.
You should have played Marvel.
It creates such a depth in understanding of what you can and cannot do, and it creates such a skill gap for those who have good movement and those who don't have bad movement. And 2D games for me are just too one-dimensional. Doesn't matter how many options there are. There's always going to be like a really strong pick for this situation, and it'll work most of the time. I don't like being limited in my options. I like being able to mind game with many things. That's my personal take on it. 2D for me, like the only 2D game I really liked is Guilty Gear, and I don't even play that anymore. So that should say something.
Yeah. I think, do we have many Tekken players that compete in multiple games? Like Tekken players as a main and do well in other games? There's not heaps, is there? I'm one of them, but there's not that many. Like, I picked up Street Fighter V in Season 1. I did alright. I picked up Dragon Ball early on, and I was like top 3 in Sydney for a while. Probably not anymore.
Isn't BK Sama, doesn't he play Street Fighter?
Nah, he's a fraud.
He doesn't main Tekken though.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, you have to, someone who mains Tekken. Yeah.
Tekken. Look, I'm kind of the same as Reck. As soon during that lull where Tekken 7 wasn't out, and there was a multitude of other fighting games, like I picked up Street Fighter 5 when it came out. Like I came top 8 at a lot of Rambats. Like when MKX came out, I played the hell out of that. And
Zazop! Forgot about Zazop.
Ah, there's Zazop. Okay, so there's one.
There's a few. But I don't know. I think that question at the end of the day, it comes down to like just individual preferences. I mean, like you can pretty much apply that to any game. There's what's that term when people describe KOF players? It's so hard and so in depth that KOF players are mainly just KOF players.
Oh yeah, except Colin.
Yeah.
Oh, Colin. Colin's another one.
Colin's another one.
Tekken's his main game, right? Oh,
no.
No. I would say if Koff were active and like the Koff, I forget which one he prefers. 13, and then we're still running. He'd be playing Koff over Tekken.
Maybe you're right.
100%.
Okay.
100%. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's an individual thing, but the same can be applied to. The same can be said of Street Fighter. A lot of Street Fighter, the hardcore Street Fighter audience, not many of them would branch out. It's just they have.
Well, not since Street Fighter 5, anyway.
Dude, this whole podcast is gonna be a shade on Street Fighter.
It always is, man. It always is.
It's from the Sydney side, not me. I got a love for all fighting games.
For me personally, it's like I was just lucky that I played Tekken since Tekken 2, and I've just known, had the history of that game. But like, I just don't have the patience to learn another game. That's just for me. Like, there's still so much in this game that I don't know. Like, I could only imagine like me trying to pick up another game. And I couldn't fireball in Street Fighter, so I gave up.
Street Fighter 1.
And now you can Raging Storm.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
So I was at Phil's house one day, and he was trying to get me to do like Ryu's down 3 into Fireball.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't. For some reason, I just couldn't do it. And then I was like,
cancel. Yeah,
I suck. That's it.
All right. I hope that answers your questions, Baxter. We might come up to your spicy one later, but we got a multitude of good ones here, so.
Let's get to them.
We touched on this briefly. Well, not as a question, but someone answered it as if they knew what I was going to ask. But this question is, how much this is probably from like a newer player. How much is online ranks an indicator of how well I'm doing, and how important are they?
In Australia specifically,
I'd say it's not bad.
it's all right. It's like a decent basis. Well, actually, you know what? Season 1, yeah. Season 2, I don't actually know anymore. I haven't played Season 2 at all. I don't know. Season 2 seems to be the more you play, the higher your rank. That's what it looks like from here.
Yeah.
Because the way they've changed the rank system is you lose less than you gain pretty much always. If you play someone who has a very high main character and they're playing a sub, you lose almost nothing for losing and you gain a lot. So it's more of a feel-good rank system now than an actual indicator. In Season 2 anyway. That's what my
Well, let's say overall.
Well, I'm not someone who plays online anymore, so I'll let someone else who actually plays online answer that question.
Look, I think ranks. I think.
Sorry, just like how no one answered.
Look, I think ranks are. They might not. Look. You could argue about whether they're a good indicator of how well you're doing, but they are important. They are important to like your general general player. I mean, you see examples of it, like maybe newer players in the Facebook group who are just like, "Ooh, like."
Oh yeah, I got this rank up and they posted.
I just hit brawler for the first time. Like, so people say that ranks don't matter, but they kind of do. Like in a sense, like.
They do and they don't. I think that's
look,
the answer.
I don't know how much you guys want to talk about that controversial topic. But look, when I play ranks, like I bring my old arcade culture, just because it's
that's your mentality
because it's embedded in me. Because that's
that's arcade etiquette.
Yeah, ranks matter in the arcade because it was actual. Look, if you're good enough to beat this person, then you get the rank for it. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I just lost my train. I just lost my train of thought.
What was the question again?
Do ranks matter online?
No.
Are they good indicators?
The question is like, how important are ranks as an indicator of how well you're doing?
I just want to just throw something in there, and I want to say this. I don't think there's a way to actually answer that question without seeing how the person plays. It makes it much easier because there are some people who are green rank, but they have a really good idea on how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're moving well, they're trying to read their opponent, but because they're online, that playstyle might not be very applicable. And then there are people who are just, doing things for the fun of it and just, mashing. Mm-hmm. And they're a higher rank because, that they're versing the type of player that's trying to look out for things, trying to be instinctive.
And don't know how yet. Yeah.
Yeah. And doesn't know how yet, or it's very hard to apply online. Yeah, to a degree, of course, like the better players will be up there for the most part. Because even though there's lag, skill will always apply. That's just, but there's going to be people that are better at using lag or like playing in a certain way because everyone has a different playstyle. Yeah, exactly. Dion doesn't give a shit. If he sees one bar, he's smelling the coffee beans right there.
Do you remember that video of his watch beating people?
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen that.
And that was amazing because it was just so laggy. All he needed was Julia's 1111, so he put his watch on the one button, and he just let it rip because it was lagging. Like it was awesome, and he won.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Anyway, yeah. So my point is, of course, they matter to a degree, but you don't want to think too much about it. That's the main thing. If you're a quote and unquote low rank, don't let it get to you because that doesn't necessarily mean you're this bad of a player or this good of a player, depending on the rank.
It's a decent estimation of where you are. I'll put it that way. It's not like a perfect indicator. Oh, this guy's one rank higher than me. He's definitely better than me. It doesn't work like that. All right. But it's a decent indicator.
Yeah,
of
just
your
don't,
understanding,
just don't
I
put-
think.
Yeah, like what you just said, but just don't put, like don't invest everything into that. Like don't think too much of it at the end of the day, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like at the lower ranks, it's gonna be a big spread of just random stuff happening, but like when you get up higher, it will give you a better indication of how good you are, I guess. Yeah.
Actually, when I stream, I get that question a lot. The one we just answered, like, "Hey man, I'm struggling at this rank with this character," and they see me playing the character, and they're saying, "Do you have any tips?" And I just give them really generic advice on that. You should focus on this thing and not really the rank. Just try and learn how to use this situation better with your character. Focus on this. See how your opponent reacts to this. Then use the tools that beat it. Find out what your best tools in every situation are.
You know what question? Sorry, you go. Finish.
No, that's all I had. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, building onto what you said, the question I hate, which is number one, is how do I get to this rank?
That's a bad question.
How do I get to Vanquisher? How do I get to this? No, that doesn't make sense.
Don't ask that question because there's no answer to it.
Yeah, there isn't. Like,
play the game. That's your answer.
Yeah, just play, and you get there eventually. But just don't put too much thought into it.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Alright.
On the other hand, if you actually want an answer to that, how do I get to this rank? Just play Heihachi.
That works too.
Heihachi. I drop 80% of my combos and I'm reviewed ruler.
Oh boy.
I think we dropped off of questions off the chat, unless I missed some. If I didn't answer them, ask them again and just tag me. I'll finish off the ones here. This one's more of a general question. Why do you think Tekken has one of the biggest communities or audience in Australia?
Because we're cool.
It's a good game. It's a fucking good game.
I'm new, so I actually don't know why Tekken's bigger than the other games. So I'd like that question answered if someone actually knows.
Do
you think it's just a community aspect thing? Like,
I swear to God, I switched off my notifications. Do you guys hear that? No, that's my bad. All right, sorry. Sorry. What were you saying, Daniel?
Oh, like I don't know. Like I've always found the Tekken community pretty chill, but I haven't had any experience in the other communities, so I don't know if we're just more chill than other people. I don't know. What do you guys?
I can't answer that because I've never been in any other
Well, I hang out with a lot of
Aussies,
and everyone's typically like really like nice. But I think that at least in Sydney, like Tekken always after YSBs goes out and eats with each other or something like that. Like it's a big, it's very community based, and people are like talk to each other a lot. I don't know. Other scenes are good too, though.
Look, I'll fill in my answer once you guys are done, because I'm a part of like a lot of scenes.
You go for it then. I'm not really sure.
See, well, there's a lot of ways to answer that. The reason why Tekken's so big, I think, one of the reasons is because of the history of the arcade culture in Tekken. Because we had a lot of players from the arcade scene, and it's just spawned on from when you have that history of like players from the art scene, and it's just branching off and just one part of the city would meet these other people, and then you just branch out, because at one point back in the Tekken 5 days, there were so many arcades. There was actually so many arcades that I think at one point the Tekken scene might have been bigger than it was now. So can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Tekken scene might have been as big as it is now, if not bigger. And it's just because you had so many players, like even given that you're going through different iterations, you always have that history of players that like will either keep playing or come back and just branch off into new people, and just get other new people to play. So because of that, Tekken was always a big arcade game, and there was always places to play it. There was always going to be a big player base in Australia. I think that's one of the reasons.
Okay.
Whereas if you can compare it to like maybe a game that maybe is popular but just didn't have that the history like in the arcade scene, so you might struggle to get a big player base. But you know, back in the day, Tekken was everywhere, so you always have that history. Even if you have people drop off numbers, like there were always people ready to replace them. Like Melbourne alone, I know so many people that have dropped off like Tekken. Like if the same people that have played Tekken since I started were still playing, the numbers would actually be ridiculous. But yeah, I think that's one of the contributing factors. But yeah, the scenes were like real welcoming. I'm not here to badmouth on any scene that I'm not a part of, but obviously there's a little bias. But the Tekken scene, for by and large, is just so welcoming. Like the people in it are just amazing. Yeah, it's just real welcoming.
Yeah, I've heard the similar things about NRS scene.
NRS is my second favorite scene after Tekken. If I wasn't a Tekken player, I'd be an NRS player, just because the guys are just great.
The scenes.
I think that's one thing that will always help the growth of the scene. Like how cool. Yeah, it's cool that you have time to play this game that you enjoy, but how you have to keep in mind the people you play with. Are they cool? Like, you know, do you want to get to know them when you're not playing? So it's just some of my good friends, like to this day, are people that I got to know through playing Tekken. So, yeah.
Yeah, Necromancy makes a good point. I was going to say something similar, but he brought it up. I think it's also like Tekken or fighting game community scenes a lot easier to get into because it's compared to maybe the MOBA scenes like Dota or League of Legends or maybe even CSGO. And we all know those scenes are absolutely, hate-filled and toxic.
They are garbage.
So yeah, there's that contrast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Was there anything asked in chat?
Hit us with the juice.
No,
I'm apple juice.
I'm asking, was there anything asked in chat?
It's been a lot of.
I'm looking, but I can't find anything because my chat doesn't go that high.
Okay, I'll go back to my list. I've seen a video from Iris say that it takes roughly 2 years to get good at Tekken. Do you agree with this?
I'm gonna answer this question.
Okay.
I've played for about 2 years. I think I'm pretty good now. So yeah, it's not a bad indicator.
And the second part of it is like, do you think that time frame to get good in quotation marks is a put off?
For me, it wasn't. I had a lot of fun. Like when you hit so many walls when you start learning Tekken. I don't know, because you guys probably been playing for ages, but I've only been playing competitively for about 2 years. And from the beginning, Yusuf always used to say this. Every time that Yusuf would get me in tournament, he was like, free win. I'm glad I got Reck. It's awesome. And now when he gets me in tournament, he's like, oh, fuck, I got Reck. So it's a good feeling. But there are like so many barriers that I had to break when I was trying to understand how to get better. What am I supposed to do? The first time I ever went offline to like a sort of like a dojo training session was at Looper's place. And I went there and he like 30-0'd me. It was like the most free thing I've ever seen. And I just thought, because I thought I knew the game decently then.
Yeah.
And so when I went there, I just had to think about it. And I thought, how did he do that? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So, just trying to figure it out for myself, how to get better, was really enjoyable. And especially because the people that I play with are really nice and helpful, and the scene's really good. We go get food. We're mostly friendly. I think that it wasn't a put off for me, but it may differ with other people's experiences.
I think it depends on the definition of like how good, like good. Because there's like Korean levels of good.
Yeah.
And there's like,
So for Australia, I think I'm pretty good. Like I think in a 1st to 10, I will beat most people in Australia.
I just want to say it's also important to, when you say 2 years, it depends on how you're approaching the game and how you're trying to improve or get to your goal. Because if you're not doing it in the right way, and I say the right way where there's many right ways and many wrong ways, but let's just go with one. If you're doing it the right way, maybe it takes you a shorter amount of time. But if you're doing it the wrong way, it can take you maybe 10 years to get good.
Yeah, maybe some people haven't reached it.
Yeah, I know people that have been playing this game for 10, 15 years, and they're absolutely atrocious at this game.
Yeah, we can use that for the next question.
Dude, you're gonna have to fill me on who, because I don't know anyone who's been playing.
Don't worry, I will. I will. Next question. I've got it.
Bad.
Don't worry, I'll do it.
Just random. It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. But guess who I ran into at PAX, Daniel?
Who?
Raven player, Steven.
Oh no shit!
Yeah,
really?
It was ridiculous.
Simon Phoenix.
Yeah. It was good to see him. That's one guy who played 10 years and probably won't get any better. I'm so sorry, Steven, if you ever hear this. But yeah, it's just But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it depends on how you approach the game, what you define as good. Is your benchmark Korean level, or is it just winning at your local major? How much time do you invest into it?
Yeah, good is definitely subjective. That is true.
All right, let's steer away from this question for a while. Might as well answer it. I'm just trying to scroll up. What was it? The spicy one?
Who do you think is the most fraudulent?
Who was the biggest fraud in the Tekken community within the OCE, and why? All right.
Within OCE. All right. Anyone else got? Oh, I want to go last. So
I'm going last. I can't think of anyone.
No.
I'll start because I don't have one answer.
All right.
I want to say
holy hell! All right.
I want to say like 90% of the players are frauds.
All right.
Okay. We don't hold punches here. All right. If you can't dish it, take it. Yeah. Let's go.
I always say this to like a lot of the players in Australia in general, not just Sydney, Brisbane, Queensland, in Australia in general, are like a YouTube video or like a coloring book. Like once you've watched the video or once you finish the coloring book, you can only go back and look at it. But if you've memorized it, it's never going to change. And that's how a lot of the players are. They're just like, it's 100% set patterns, set play, and autopilot. There's so many players that are quote unquote good that or just play like this. And the reason why they do so well is because when people try verse them, they have no idea how to adapt. They're like, oh, I'm going to play my game too. They're not thinking about what their opponent's doing. But if you just sit down and look at what your opponent is doing, and they're going to doing the same thing every time, and then you're like, this guy has done this option 100 times in a row, and he's never changed. And that's it. Like, they're not changing or anything. So, in my opinion, there's so many frauds, I can't name one.
I just name them all, Eli. Name all of them.
Yeah, there's so many frauds. Holy shit.
Put them on blast, baby.
You know who you are.
Holy hell. Everyone putting the whole scene on blast, but not naming anyone.
Put Australian Tekken on blast. I like it.
I want people to get better. How are you going to play like autopilot and think you're actually good at this game?
Oh, that's good. All right. And Daniel, do you have anyone?
No, I actually can't think of anything.
Daniel's not trying to make people his enemies.
Okay. All right. So Sydney's the only one who's going to be calling out people. All right. I'll see how I do. Abby, anyone?
Go for it, yeah.
Fraud. You gotta give me time because I actually don't play as much as I used to.
Does Abdul count?
Oh shit! All right.
In a sense that he said he quit Tekken, but he didn't.
Oh really?
I wouldn't say he's a fraud because he's like he's a weird one because
I'm just joking, by the way.
No,
It's just-
yeah. But I want to answer
Damn,
like you
I thought
asked
that
me
was-
this truthfully. He's not a fraud. He talks. No, I'm not scared to say he talks like he knows his game more than he actually does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You tell him.
Yeah.
Preach to the people. All right.
And look, you can get mad at me, Abdul, if you're listening to this, but
No,
like,
Abdul's a nice guy.
yeah, he's
I
a
think
nice
actually
guy,
very
but like,
fun. He's
yeah.
very funny.
Yeah, but
He's
like,
very funny, but yeah. Yeah. Okay, fair. Okay. So
I feel like at one point he thought he was better than he actually is, just based on a few results, and yeah.
I'm gonna call someone out,
All right.
and it's gonna be Scorpion.
Oh damn!
Scorpion.
I knew it was coming.
Why did I?
So,
I completely
Scorpion's
forgot.
a fraud.
Okay.
I played him in Queensland and when I was in Brisbane. I wasn't able to make the major, and no one's ever gonna not the major, the Rambat. No one's gonna let me forget it, and I don't blame him. That was my bad. But I beat him solidly with like all my characters, pretty much, except for Hachimera. He beat me there, and I'll give it that to him. So I offered him a money match. And I said first to 10, $50, and he won't accept. So Scorpion's a fraud, and he's unless he beats me in a first to 10, next major, I'm gonna keep calling him a fraud.
Look, I'm trying to answer back to the question. Look, one, I consider people not exactly frauds, but just a lot of people think, or maybe it is that your definition of what a fraud is. A lot of people think they're better than they are.
Than they are. Yeah, that's one of them.
Is that your look? I'm gonna look. I bring up multiple online people. There's most like
online. Yeah,
50% of online are frauds because in that sense. Because look, I'll 100% bring up Tuba Yoshi. What? No, I'll bring it up.
No, that's true. I'll take that.
Online, Tuba Yoshi is a fraud.
Is that Bracky guy still around? He's a fraud too.
Oh, that guy's the biggest fraud of all time. But like,
I think he's an AI, to be honest.
he's a computer sent from the future, right?
Yeah. Definitely not a player.
Is he still around? Like, do people still run into him?
Dion was versing him yesterday.
Oh, nice.
He's Tekken King.
But yeah, most of online are frauds in my opinion. Just if you talk a big game and just like, yeah, just come on. I don't think Baxter was satisfied with that question. I got no one to call out except for Tuba Yoshi.
I honestly can't think of anyone.
I think Baxter wants specifics, Alchemist.
What? You want specifics from me?
Yeah.
You want from me specifically?
Yeah, you called out like a lot of people, but named no one.
Okay, let me try and think of someone that I can call out. Handsome boy.
Yeah, I knew it.
He's not even playing Tekken 7. He's playing Tekken 6 Fang. Still getting by because people can't adapt because they couldn't beat him back then. Who else?
Does he play much nowadays?
No, he doesn't actually. He doesn't play that much.
Yeah.
More people. Are you happy with one? I got to name like 100 people now.
Well, you called out. Call it one more.
One more, all right.
Give him one more.
I'll think of a spicy one.
By the way, guys, we'll take 2 more questions from the chat because the podcast is almost going overtime here.
Oh, okay. Do we have a lot of questions?
I'll come back to it. Come back to it.
All right.
This is a controversial issue, depending on who you ask, but I wanted to get people's thoughts on it. Because I'm not about avoiding stuff that happens in the scene. The whole Gunmo and Tin thing. I want people's opinions on it.
Okay. I saw. Yeah, there's a bit of a controversy there. In my opinion,
Yeah.
online's online. It's for fun.
Yeah.
Do what you want. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, he shouldn't have copped shit for that. He's trying to stream. He's trying to have fun with his friends, and you know, like he's doing it for a stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Eli and I did that, I don't think that would be a big deal, even though like we probably won't. But yeah, I just don't. I think Peter was blown out of proportion.
But why wouldn't
you?
Because Eli's style of stream is he sits down, he explains his entire thought process while he's streaming to all the people in the chat, and he answers questions. But if there's two people playing, he can't know what I'm thinking.
No, you can still do that, but why wouldn't you do it?
Was that a question for me?
Both of you. Like, would you do that under your account?
Yeah. Why not? I mean, it was literally in Gunmo's title that they were playing Social Tekken and that he had a special guest. So the intention was there, and it's online ranks. It's just online. Who the hell cares? Why does it matter?
Oh, people care.
I know people care, but I don't think they should. I think
you guys have seen on my. I don't know who watches my stream, but Dion, whenever he's there, he says, "Oh, let me play." Like when I'm deathmatching Abby, and I genuinely say, "Fuck off," because I don't like that kind of thing when I'm playing a deathmatch. But if it was just like.
But it was a deathmatch.
But that's what a deathmatch is.
But he knew it. Like it was with the
people that were
versing, doing it.
The people that were versing Gunmo and Tin knew what was happening.
That's the difference. Lazy Dave asked what happened. So
let me quickly bring up what happened for those people that know. So Gunmo was streaming. He had Tin on he at his place, and they were like, I think what was it, Social Tekken. They were deathmatching Dan Banter, and they were swapping turns in between the deathmatch every round.
Yeah.
And people found out about it, and what happened was some people didn't agree with what he was doing and thought it was like from a moral standpoint wrong. Some people were like, why should it matter? It's just, but yeah. And Dan wasn't happy about it. Aiken came and chimed in. He wasn't happy about it.
I can understand how Aiken feels about it, but in the end, like they did it. The main reason why I'm not angry and I don't see it in a bad way is, and I think the people overreacting to it is because the people that started playing against them knew what was happening. But it was Stuckles and Dan Banter.
But that's not necessarily the case, though. Not many people know at the time. Not many people are watching. Do you know what I mean?
At that rank, though, there's only like 3 or 4 people, right? And they all know. Like the people that were
sorry, it wasn't Stuckles, it was Harlem.
No, like you could be doing that, but not everyone would know that like their opponent is switching between someone else.
Oh, so you're not referring to the rank, you're just referring to the practice in general.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, like you were saying, a deathmatch is between one person and another person. And so, like, you're saying Dan Banter knew, and fair enough, he did. But let's just say they ran into someone else and was doing the same thing. They don't have the chance to know or not if they're playing against 2 people, in which case they would probably can just leave if they knew that.
Yeah, you can always leave.
No, I'm saying without the knowledge that they're actually playing 2 people, how would they know?
Oh, they won't. There will be no way to tell. Well, actually, there is a way to tell. But you have to understand how one player plays and then be like, this is completely different. You can tell in like nuances in movement, stuff like that.
That's a bit too I don't think so, man. Like, you can't just like guess that. Oh wait, their play styles change every second game. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. I mean, I can understand what Aiken is saying, to be honest. And there is that side to it. I honestly never thought too much about it until people started mentioning that it's kind of a bad thing. But if you think about it, it's kind of like boosting, kind of. Kind of.
Put it this way, right? I agree with what you guys say. It's online, it's fun, you can do what you want. But like this sort of stuff means a lot to certain people. And like I know it shouldn't, but like if you put this as a different game, it's going to be looked down upon. Like you put it into say Dota or something in a tournament. If someone's playing under someone else's account for fun, it would be looked down upon. And like you don't really see this stuff. Yeah, I know it's online, but like same thing. It's the same thing. Like you probably wouldn't see any people in Korea or Japan doing this. And like the reason why Aiken was so upset was because someone in Thailand messaged him and said that, you know,
that surprised me.
Is this what Australia does? And that's the thing with these Asia scenes. It's a big pride thing. And
okay. Well, see, I didn't realize that. I thought there was only Australia that really even knew about it. But people from Thailand, like, that's weird. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's a big deal for them. It's because like I guess we all grew up in the arcade scene, so it's like it's really all about arcade etiquette, which is kind of transferred over with these old school players, if you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, I agree. It's online, it shouldn't matter. But you know, I can see why it affects a lot of people. And like, I actually had people message me as well and say, "Oh, this is kind of dirty what they're doing," and fair enough.
See, like I could see both sides, and look, the simple practice for two friends playing a game, that's fine. I have nothing against that, 100%. Like, do what you want to do. I'm not trying to impose my viewpoint on anyone. I'm just trying to say, look, if you're upset, then try and look at it from this side. And like I'm telling the people who aren't upset, but you might just see this as a game, but some people take this game like we're playing a game, but it's a hobby that we've invested a lot of time into. So in a sense, it's a little bit more than a game. And for some people, there are a little bit of moral practices. Like, might not be the best example, might is, but like if you're death matching someone and you see them stop, you wouldn't attack them because you would assume it's a controller issue. So you give them like a 5-second leeway.
Can I ask something to the chat and to you guys?
Yeah.
Do you guys think it would be this? Do you guys think it would have the same? Like we'd have this would be having this argument.
Mm-hmm. It's not an argument. I was just curious as to people's, because I saw a lot of 50-50 regarding the issue. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I just want to get people's thoughts.
Okay, but do you think the same thing would be happening if it was player match and not ranked?
No, because there's something on the line with ranked, and and even though people want to say, oh, it's online, it doesn't matter but like we said, it's online, it doesn't matter, but at the same time, it does matter to some people. Some people bring their old habits from offline to online, and so. It's
just it's a respect thing at the end of the day. Like you can still do it; it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but a lot
I'm not gonna
a lot of people
say
they don't. Yeah, but like the thing is, a lot of people do say, "Oh, I don't care about ranks; it's just for fun." But then, right after Gunmo got that Fujin rank, he's just like, "Oh, let me take a screenshot of it." It's like people do care about these things. You know what I mean? They say what they want, but when people get a new rank, they take a screenshot, they put it on Twitter.
They feel proud,
That's it. Okay. Yeah. So. But yeah, do what you want. It's online at the end of the day. But I don't know. Like for a lot of players, it's just about the respect. Like Aiken comes from old school arcade, ever since Tekken 5. So does Abby and me. So we can kind of see what he thinks behind it. But I mean, you probably wouldn't see that. I'm saying like in any sort of other scene, like in Asia in particular. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want like people to understand people's both sides.
Well, yeah, we had actually like 50-50 split view, so it was good. I can understand why people are upset, but I still, in my personal opinion, don't think it was that big. Like it was blown out of proportion. I'll definitely say that. It was a little bit.
Don't mess with Daniel's opinion. He's got the best body.
Oh shit! So I'm safe here in Sydney, man.
Yeah.
Yusuf is the best body in Sydney.
Dude, shout out to him and whatever he's doing.
He's actually doing real well.
I think that might be it. Unless we have...
What hasn't Alchemist answered yet?
The fraudulent part.
They called out Jackie.
You want me to name someone else?
Come on, Alchemist, if you don't want to answer the question because you think it might be one of the three of us, don't hold any punches.
It's not one of the
It's me.
If it was one of you guys, I'd say it directly to your face and not on the stream.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot your question, King Kamis. We'll end with that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to answer?
You can. I'll give you more time, but while we'll finish off with this question. Do you guys put pressure on yourselves to win? If so, what ways? And do you think chill attitudes can get you the same results you see as the best player? You see the best player in a 1st to 10 or a money match?
I didn't quite get the last bit. What? How?
I think it just means. I think an attitude. Do you put pressure on yourself to win? Does that help you as opposed to being chill?
Yeah.
I honestly don't really know. I think putting too much pressure on yourself is a bad thing.
I think you want to put enough pressure on yourself where you work hard, but not too much pressure that it becomes
like if you lose, it'll be I really like.
Sorry, I just want to say, in regards to like the pressure, I actually used to be very nervous at tournaments, extremely nervous. I used to be shaking and everything because I was new to the scene. When I say I mean like pre-2018 and maybe like early 2017 and every time, all the years before that. So I was always very nervous. I'd always put pressure on myself. I'd say, I can win this. These days, I'm actually really chill. I just think about, like, I always feel like I have a good chance of winning, as arrogant as that may sound. And I just feel like I got to remember, I don't really think about how well I should perform. I think about the situations I put myself against this player and what I need to do in every situation. That's pretty much all goes through my head. But when it comes to pressure, I actually invest a lot more of my emotion in 1st to 10s than tournaments.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, there's so much pride in Sydney, especially in 1st to 10s. Like, I don't know why. It's just something, because I've always prided myself on being a really good long set player because of my play style and everything. Tournament, I'm getting better, but I'm still obviously not the best player. I'm still learning. But in tournament, I focus on doing what I want to do rather than performing well. If that makes sense.
How much do you think, because obviously the style required for a 1st to 3, 1st to 2 and a 1st to 10 is different. Did you feel like the skills are transferable? I only bring this up because I remember reading a Twitter post from a pro player saying that he's not happy with how his tournament results have been, so he wants to get back to his roots, which is like long sets, which seem to have helped him out.
I think yes and no. I think it depends. If you're versing a completely brand new opponent, you have to play more of a faster style. You don't have much time to condition and download, so you kind of have to take it to them and see how they react. And then you have to get a feel for when their panic timing is and all this stuff. You got to be in charge of creating situations. You can't let them create situations where they're going to be it's going to be in their favor, and especially if it's a new play. Yeah, but if I verse someone in tournament that I've known for years, I can apply stuff that I've used for years and years and years, and it'll still work on them. So that's kind of a long set mentality. That's Yomi developed over like years. And that is definitely long set. And I can use that in tournament against a player that I know how they play. But it will depend on how well you know the player and their play style. That's just my opinion.
I don't think you want to put pressure on yourself. I think you just want to have like positive expectations on how you do based on like your hard work. The moment you start to put pressure on yourself, I don't know. I feel you're reaching into detrimental areas of. Yeah.
Baxter asked a really interesting question. If you could take all your skill from Tekken and put it into another gaming title like Dota or CS:GO because of the money, would you, and why? Personally, I wouldn't, because I think FGC is like the best community I've ever been part of, and I also enjoy the game a lot more than I've played a lot of those other games, and I've been decently good at a lot of them. But like by far, Tekken is just way better in almost every aspect, except for it's not as big and the money's not as good.
I'm a hard no because I'm not money hungry. So yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you have teammates, man. That shit's.
Oh yeah,
hard.
team games are rough. Very rough.
Dude, don't start. I'm on like a 4-week ban on myself for Overwatch.
What'd you do? Did you like yell at some kid or something?
No, like I'm just like there's team games and there's team games where you have a team, proper teammates, and there's team games
like
where,
actual friends, and then you have randoms.
And then there's randoms.
Wait, this is a question. I don't know if anyone knows this out of you guys or anyone in the chat. I know there's a lot of money in competitive Fortnite, but is it a team game or is it single player? I genuinely have no idea.
Squad. I think it's like 4.
It depends on the format.
It's 2v2, 4v4, or something like that.
Yeah, I believe it's always a team thing.
I think competitively it's usually team. Yeah.
I have literally never played, watched, or even heard anything about Fortnite. So I don't know. I don't know. But when you guys mentioned money, I remembered that there's a lot of money in the scene for Fortnite. Yeah, so that's what I was just thinking. I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest. I don't really care because I really enjoy Tekken. I love.
I think the motive behind the question is like, all fighting games were still like we've been around for a while, but we haven't achieved the mainstreamness of like the MOBA games where the money is big. So does the money appeal you? Is the money appealing enough for you to transfer your skills over? And
at the same time, if I transferred my skills over to that game, I probably wouldn't be as good as the good players anyway.
On an international level, well, yeah, that's the thing, right? The other scenes have like ridiculously high skill caps because there's so many people and there's so much money. There's so many stakes. It's really just overall level would be just higher, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like, so I don't think my skill will transfer to much in the end. I'm not going to cash out much, I think.
All right, guys. Last question because we're almost at the 3-hour mark. This is the longest podcast on record. Do you guys believe in sandbagging in casuals before a tournament? Because the Sydney Boys No Cruise believes it doesn't happen. What?
Wait, what?
Wait, who asked the question?
Who asked this question?
King Coming.
It's Rumper Stumper.
Oh, that's Rumper. Oh, okay. Believes it doesn't happen. Sandbagging so that people don't.
Wait, Cruz believes it doesn't happen?
I'm just going to shorten.
Yeah, I don't understand that last part.
I'm just going to shorten the question to: do you guys believe in sandbagging in casuals before a tournament?
I know some people do it.
Sandbagging for me is kind of really weird because I play like 6 characters in tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know
really sandbag anyone, to be honest.
Yeah. The only time I'm sandbagging someone is, for example, at PAX, you had a broad range of skill play. The skill variety was very broad. You had players who obviously knew what they're doing, and people were button mashing. Yeah, and I would sandbag there just so people don't feel bad.
Okay.
That's probably the only place. Like I have learned not to sandbag in tournament.
If picking characters that you wouldn't play in tournament is considered sandbagging, then I would. But in casuals, I pretty much always play casuals to try and learn. So I'm always trying, and I'm always thinking, but I might not pick the same characters that I would pick in a tournament situation. So if you consider that sandbagging, then yes. But if you don't, then no. That's basically how I'd say it. Cruz said it would never happen and people wouldn't do it. Nah, people do it all the time. I know heaps of people who do it.
People do it all the time.
I'm pretty sure everyone does it. Like pros as well, man.
Do what?
Yeah, 100% sandbag.
Well, like if you're going to a major and like the competitors are like are there, then if you're one of those people that you don't want your tech to be seen just before a tournament, then yeah, 100%.
Pretty sure that's why JDCR stopped streaming. And
Well, yeah, no, they're definitely kings of sandbagging.
They don't even verse each other.
Yeah, and Saint don't play each other. They were
yeah,
sponsored
they
by
don't
each
play
other.
each other. Yeah, and I remember they used to stream a lot.
Think of that house. You have like the potential for training isn't as great as the potential for them to find out their tech.
Yeah,
that's a weird house, man.
Yeah, imagine that you have the strongest you could have potentially some of the strongest training partners in the world, but you play them on the regular so much in tournament that you don't expose yourself to training because they'll find out how you play. That's crazy.
No, people definitely do sandbag. In Sydney, I don't actually know many people that actually sandbag like on purpose for tournament reasons. I bet you there's a bunch of people that will say they're sandbagging even if they weren't, just so they don't feel bad they lost. I guarantee you that definitely happens. It's like you beat them like, oh, I wasn't trying. Like, okay, bro, like come on. But
I remember I versed someone in Tekken Tag 2, and this was when I was new to the game, but I was learning, but I was still like really, really shit at the game. But this one player that had been playing for a while, I don't remember who it was. I remember his main team was Jin Kazuya. He's like this Korean guy. And I used to play him in arcade, and there was an arcade tournament, and he was there, and we wanted to play some casuals beforehand. And I said, yeah, let's play. I picked my main team. My main team is Jinpachi Paul. Of course, I picked my main team. And he picked Leo and Feng or something. I'm like, what the fuck? He plays Leo? And then I watch him play, and he doesn't know how to play Leo. He doesn't know how to play anything. And then I beat him in tournament. Screw that guy. And he's like one of those guys that's been in the scene for a long time, but no one knows who it is. Like I remember his gamer tag, but when I ask people from Sydney, do you guys remember him? No one remembers him. Like if you're in Sydney and you're an old school player, do you remember Fernando? That was his tag.
Sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, like he played Jin Kazuya, and I used to always lose to him because he used to 50-50 me with Mishimas, and I'm like, I didn't know how to deal with that when I first started playing. And then when I found out, Hellsweep is launch punishable. Like that's how much I didn't know. When I found that Hellsweep was launch punishable, I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, from then on, I started beating him.
This changes everything.
Pretty much.
Wow, this was bullshit.
See, Dave is saying, who the hell is Fernando? No one remembers him. I used to play him a lot. There used to be two Korean guys I always used to verse, Fernando and Wave Devil Jin. Wave Devil Jin played Bruce Devil Jin. Oh. And he was a scumbag 50-50 player.
Aiken doesn't know.
See, even Aiken doesn't know. No one knows these guys. They were the people I used to verse the most in 2012.
Was this in arcades, you said?
Yeah, arcades.
Oh, weird.
All right, that's going to be the last question for the night.
Yeah, it's getting real late.
Yeah.
3 hour plus.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for the ATC.
Well, I didn't call out my last person.
All right.
Oh, you got it.
all right. Call out your last person, and we'll end
I'm gonna call out Easy OK.
Nah.
You guys know who that is?
I know who that is.
That's an online player, yeah. Where's he actually from?
Sydney. I want him to come out. Where is
he?
The
Sydney player, gotcha.
Yeah, no one knows where he's... we know he's from Sydney, but we don't know where from.
I really do want him to come
out. I'm going to call out someone. Just for a little controversy. Just a little controversy. I got nothing against you, dude. But I'm going to call out Pio because he never plays Tekken. He plays a DLC bastard version of Tekken.
New Zealand call out.
Dude, learn some actual Tekken characters, mate.
I sense the spice traveling across the sea.
Oh man.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just like I'm shit at DLC. It's more salt than anything. But yeah.
Alright.
Anyway, yeah. Don't take it personally, man. It's just jokes. Yeah, yeah, let's end it there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks,
thanks, guys.
for all the questions. Really much appreciate all the love, guys. We'll do another one of these. They're always good. Like they go for ages, but they're good. Guys, you want to give shout outs to anyone before we end up?
Shout outs to BKB, 235 Pitt Street, Maryland's. Come every Wednesday or Friday. Friday's the bigger day. If you want to play Tekken, they do different games as well on all different days. You have to check the schedule. Shout outs to Stefan as well.
Shout outs to Lucky Strike. Stay free.
That should be a call out. That should have been your call out.
But no, but that one's a given.
He's oh man.
Good shout outs for anyone, Daniel.
That's to sleeping.
Nice. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Just for the record, they're going to be audio version of this podcast next week. I'm going to transfer all previous podcasts in their entirety to Podbean, so you can catch all of them on there, including this one. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. We'll see you on the next podcast. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
So yeah.
Peace. See yous.